things do get worrying.
Well, let's see how it goes. Just to remind everyone, actually, you know what? You didn't actually call your prediction. You called your prediction first.
Yeah, I think it goes 2-1 to NORDAVIND. I think Inferno is so much of a up in the air pick that I'm willing to get on the bad side of Soul fans there.
Okay, well, you know what? I actually, we do have our loot bet odds, which say that NORDAVIND should be winning our Dust 2. Our partners over at LootBet have been very patient with all the overtimes we're having, you know, with everything going on. And they're always really good with updating the odds. They actually think NORDAVIND should be coming out on top, which I find particularly interesting. I think Saw's 100% in favor to win Dust 2. But let's see whether or not LootBet knows a little bit more than we do. It's definitely possible. There's 3 players from NORDAVIND who just completely ignored the A side and they went directly into tunnels. That's a read gone wrong, but they can just circumnavigate back to A short and play from there. So maybe that's kind of the idea, and that does look to be the case. Double smoke goes down from Saw. They've crossed over safely. No casualties so far. Flashbang goes over, and HS and Tensky are coming in. Muterus has found the first. Tensky, Croman coming in with 3, but Muterus and Just are good enough to equalize. Unfortunately, they've lost control of the side itself, so NATO does have an advantage over here. He sees the lost player, and NATO is here to play. Scary thought, man. NATO and Croman starting off hot, but so is Muterus.
Yeah, 3 quick kills as they collapsed on that A site. A very ambitious sort of push there from NORDAVIND, but like you said, a lot of information gained, and the timing of it seemed to work out just well enough that they caught Saw as they were taking that A bomb site. So clearly something that they had thought through coming into the pistol round. Well, with a crucial 1v1 being won by NORDAVIND, of course, the Soulcap have actually bought into this. They've got Sonodo on the AK, Arky on the Scout. They'll find the opening frag to start things off. A bit of long control could be gained, but with NATO Safix there with the Scout, a secondary player as well to accompany, that's actually an easy enough refrag for the NORDAVIND side to equalize.
Well, HS is getting aggressive. And this is something that I'm always really curious about, Yumi, which is that some teams will post up their long hold very aggressively next to doors, and some teams will just keep a crossfire between pit and the corner. So the difference is always really interesting to see. Arky, in the meanwhile, though, has been tagged down to 23, and that might be giving some information, some inkling to Croman that they're coming his way. This is a big angle for him to be holding around the corner.
Yeah, they're just slow peek into him. Croman does so much damage onto a secondary player, but only good for 1. NATO Safix there with the Scout, the tag damage done, securing another kill, and so Just, he has the bomb on his back, has a teammate accompanying him as well, but that's very much an indicator that NORDAVIND are clued into their plans, so still reconsidering and actually backing themselves back through the spawn, the 2nd time round.
You don't see the long rotate twice in a round very often, but...
And NATO's here as well.
Yeah, that's... NATO knows, man. You can't hide anything from NATO, but as I say that, he doesn't know anymore. He will be able to get a chance to hit the shot, tags him down, so HS has a much easier time when they're trying to cross. The smoke is there, he's got the M4, but he doesn't have the spray. How does he not get a single bullet in there? HS is cursing his luck, and Just, well, he's realized where HS is coming from. Arky just has to reposition and play it safe. What?
Yeah, there was just no time. So much time navigating from A to B to back to A. They did that. They ran out of time towards the end.
I tunnel vision as well. I completely forgot to look at the time.
Very easy for that to slip away, especially when they're making so many split decisions. Yeah. So they're trying to outthink NORDAVIND, and they're outthinking themselves.
They outtaught me too, man. Well, once again, going for the early lower tunnels control. Saw is not going in too early on, but they force spot around the weaponry they had saved before. So 2 AKs, not bad. And Deagles are obviously always deadly as well. This is a very curious style of play from NORDAVIND.
Yeah, they're making sure that these B tunnels are constantly contested. Saw are here so late that they have to clear absolutely everything, and Croman's aggressive again. They don't clear it. They don't clear it a second time, and it works out wonderfully. They all line up for Chrome and Muterus. A consolidatory frag in middle, but it's just not going to be enough. The nade tracks him down as well. Arky has the bomb, but he's lost all of his teammates. That's the second time. We've had 3 rounds of play, and Croman has had so much more success. Can Arky pull anything out of the bag? We saw a great set of shots being hit on the scout yesterday on Dust 2 from him, but not going to be given the same opportunities. That's a shutout round for NORDAVIND.
That's huge. And here's the thing. I kind of understand where Saw's coming from, because Saw has the information that, hey, they push lower tunnels early on, so they have to check LT first, because LT is first contact there. But they swing too wide afterwards because they need the second player to swing with, because that's just basic Counter-Strike. You know, first player swings wide, second player swings short. But unfortunately, that just ends up in a perfect lineup, and they're hoping that maybe Croman isn't at the same spot again. But it's unfortunate. And NORDAVIND again and again, man. Like at one point, you're just gonna see them fake it out or not have anyone, but they'll throw the smoke just in case. And that's when Saw is gonna be feeling very, very scared. Harry, however, he's particularly scary as well. Sees one, will take him down. Sudodo already on the sidelines, and HS is returning fire for Tensky. You can kill our veteran player, but we will come strike right back, he says. Unfortunately, he's dead. So there's that. A lot of decal headshots being hit by Saw. Quite nice to see. Lots of economy damage being done. Yeah.
Issue for Arky now is that although he bought himself a little bit of space with that deagle kill, he's got to recover the bomb. And NORDAVIND, the last 2 players, are making sure that that's not an easy possibility. Because he's got quite a lot of time to work with, can reposition to a number of angles. So the longer this plays out, the more exposed they will begin to feel. NATO does spot out Arky in the end. It's called for reinforcements. The Molotov as well to deny the chase down. And well, at this point, it's just about dying, maybe trying to get the kill right back. They're still concerned about that push from short, but Harry has NATO's back. Creeping forward. Yeah, it's going to be the round done. It's a pretty costly one at that. Like you said, a lot of shots being hit by Saw to make that a not inconsequential round for NORDAVIND.
If they lose this round on NORDAVIND's side, then you'll see their money being put into a place where they are at an awkward decision where, hey, do we force buy? 2 of our players have enough money to buy. Maybe we just go for it just in case. So NORDAVIND has to play a little bit more conservatively this round. You'll see them getting themselves into positions where they can save at least 2 rifles moving forward. So that in itself is a big win for Saw off the back of the previous round. So let's see whether or not it'll be mattering too much. HS is very aggressive early on. He sees a player in Muterus and immediately afterwards backs off. Now that nade is very nice, but perhaps a bit premature, as Muterus will now get into that old Adren smoke position. Nato on the AWP.
We're seeing True. Well, we're seeing a bit more of an emphasis from NORDAVIND over towards long. They had 3 players just to secure control. Now just Harry to lock down this position, as there's a lot of pressure towards the A-bomb site. The Molotovs being deployed to slow them down. And while Saw look to try and retake long at a later timing, a flash being lined up by Stododo, they're going to see if they can try and flush Harry out into the open. First duel there, they spotted out his position. They've called for the corner players and NATO Safix to come in into support, but he can't get Harry out of that situation. A kill for Stododo, and this A-bomb site seems to be the target. The split is very much underway.
NATO needs to be boosted up over here if he wants to have a chance of doing anything, but Tensky's not in position, and Muterus comes in from short to take him down. HS now trying to save the day, gets 1, gets 2, perfectly done. You know he's good with the first bullet, but he pulls out the grenade at the wrong time, leaving Tensky and Croman to do way too much work. Croman caught off, the AWP was looking out for him, and like I said before, NORDAVIND felt pressure to be in a situation where they should be able to save at least 2 weapons. Unfortunately for them, in the 2v3 where they knew Roman's been dinked and tagged heavily, they're thinking, yeah, we can try going for this. And as a result of that, this makes their next round decision of to buy or not to buy even more difficult.
And a few Hail Marys there for Saw. The fact that Roman survives on such low HP, he's the one that's planting the bomb as well. That Molotov, had it just ticked him once while he's planting, that could signal a bit of a disaster, because the time becomes a bigger and bigger issue. And while dealing with HS on the site, finding a kill through smoke by Stododo, he's really the one that bails them out in the round, because it seemed I was prepared for HS to just have a round where he just hits shot after shot, because he dealt with the short presence. This was easy enough. He turns around and then he just gets shot through the smoke. Sad days for him.
Unfortunate. Now though, we are going to see the buy coming out. NATO's more conservative, so NATO wants to be able to op still later on. He's fine with this. They're kind of just hoping that, hey, maybe our MP9 gets some kills. Otherwise, we can just save these M4s. That would be the ideal situation for them. HS and Harry both clustered around A long, means that it becomes a little bit easier for them to start really running away and saving those weapons. So, on the other hand, though, they kept 3 players alive in the previous round. This is a round where you can theoretically build up your money pretty handily. If you get a few picks, if you force NORDAVIND to immediately save, you know, that's potentially 4 or 5 players kept alive.
And given the positions we saw NORDAVIND take up in the start of this game, just pushing aggressive B tunnels from both lower and upper simultaneously, and how they're playing a bit more standardized now, you do wonder how much of the opening of this game was a read that the defaults might have been a bit slow from Saul. Oh, Crow, no. He's got so many problems over towards tunnels. At least I thought they should have been. There were 2 players there, but he finds a perfect timing to get both caught off guard. He aggresses by himself. He doesn't need the rest of his team.
That was what, the 3rd round where we've seen Croman completely decimate any sort of a B tunnels play that Saul wants to make. Croman's been fantastic over there. Flashbang goes in, won't be doing much, but Croman now with the AK-47 finds the 3rd kill before going down to Roman. And both Roman and Arky are going to be trying to move in, but Tensky's going to be so careful as a dropping player will catch him off. HS unfortunately messes up his spray massively, and as a result of that does go down. Now remember, this is a position where NATO can come through and recover the gun, but NATO's coming in from the tunnels. Harry peeks out, gets the 1st kill. Now Roman's going to be obsessed with Harry and has to be very careful about NATO coming in from the side, who picked up an AK for himself. And there you have it. NORDAVIND stealing away around that should have been Saw's big old moneymaker. Unfortunately, Croman, with an absolutely fantastic performance so far, is going to be the death of them.
And this is what we were touching on before, the fact that you have so many of these individual players that can just step into the limelight at any given moment. We had NATO yesterday, and Croman is just having a stormer of a start here in this series. Coming into this, we were predicting Saul. They had a pretty good game on Dust 2 yesterday, but with NORDAVIND coming to play, it's very, very difficult. They need to do something to knock Croman down a peg, or maybe just bypass him altogether.
Also, just a quick note, the reason why Croman pushes over there is because of something which I do not understand why it's in Counter-Strike. Maybe they patched it out, because I checked this last about 6 months ago. The T-side Molotov is audible. When it's burning in your hand, it's audible to your enemies. The CT side incendiary is not. So Croman heard that Molotov sound. It's very low, but you can still hear it if you're close enough. Heard that Molotov sound, and that's why he swings out over there. Unless it's been patched. Now HS, who's got a crazy flank in from mid, is going to have Croman as well coming in to give him some assistance as they're fighting up against this long push. A flashbang goes out, but HS needs to be careful. Justice coming in from behind. HS hides away, re-peeks out later on. Croman is the trade, but he's more than happy to get that kill. 4 versus 2 now, as Muris and Stododo are left to try and salvage a bad situation.
They are suffocating Saul at the moment. The fact that the flank is there so quickly and they contain them towards long, there's no way Saul were accounting for that. They're getting completely caught off guard by the aggression that NORDAVIND's implementing to start off this series. And while Stododo and Muteris will try their best to bring this back from the clutches of defeat, the late boost comes on through. Stododo able to at least get 1 in response, but losing a teammate, bring it to the 1-on-3. It is certainly not ideal. A bit of utility on his belt. NATO, it's an ult versus ult duel over towards this A bomb site, and NATO's being elusive, trying to jump above the boxes, get a bit of a glance over, catch the Dodo off guard, but they both take similar positions, and well, that's a back turn to NATO that he will happily take.
6-1, and I'm starting to think maybe our boys over at LootBet, maybe they know a bit more about Counter-Strike than we do.
They've got somebody on the inside.
Well, you know what? We've also got some boys over at Hellcase, our partners, our case partners, who are the biggest and most known case opening website with almost 100 cases, updated case battle upgrader, dozens of giveaways per month, and more absolutely unique feature. You won't get bored with Hellcase. Use the promo codes to save more and grab what you deserve. And what we deserve right now is some fantastic Counter-Strike, which we're more than happy to grab, and Hellcase is more than happy to partner up with us to support. So, now, we have ourselves the good old Deagle round where Saw is going to try and make some magic happen. And we know they're very good with these Deagles. So let's see whether or not, you know, maybe they can get a few shots in. Arky can finish a few off. Like you said before, we saw a fantastic 4K on him, on this map rather, from him yesterday.
I'm struggling to be optimistic for Saw. Just the positions that NORDAVIND is finding themselves in so many of these rounds, it's just a level of confidence that is very, very worrying for the series. The run boost over, NATO was holding the angle, didn't quite account for it, but adjusts in time. And while they concede this bomb site, they're going to play for the retake instead. HS has rotated in, and he's not quite on the same page. He wants to just take these fights and fight and not even allow them to get this bomb planted. HS will do fantastic in doing exactly that. The rest of the team rallies behind him. A 7-1 scoreline as NORDAVIND start off Dust 2 hot.
HS's aim looks so crisp.
Yeah. He's so patient.
Yeah, like even the round earlier where we saw him get the 3K, I believe, or maybe it was a 2K, where he was playing from side and getting kills on the short. He just peeks out, double tap, double tap, double tap, boom. It's so nice to see him back in this form. It's always good to see a player, you know, feeling confident enough to do that. Now Roman is getting aggressive. He's been flashed entirely, but he's going for the early pit play. But Muris and Arky are the ones to find the kills. Harry and HS try to get aggressive through the smoke, but they're caught off with their pants down. 4 players out, and I think they might have actually been expected. So I think what they were expecting was a blue bins play, not a pit play, where you have 3 players going out very quickly. That might have just been an incorrect read coming out from them at the end of the day. But now you see the flank, and that is taken down. NATO Suffix will be the first to go, and the secondary flank from Kroman and Tensky. That's going to be difficult to pull off as well. They've got some good angles, but they don't have very much money on their team, and I wouldn't be surprised to see them save.
Yeah, it seems like they've just made that call to do so. There could have been an opportunity where they maybe catch Roman off guard, make the Soul side a bit worried for that AWP. But instead, like you said, playing it a bit smarter, focusing on the economy at hand, as these rounds, although it has been very much a dominant affair from NORDAVIND just because of what kind of risks they're willing to take, they have certainly been expensive. And the fallout from that is exactly what leads into this decision from them. But it seems like Seoul are kind of cluing in. They're not... That seemed overly ambitious, right? Like, if you just look at it at face value, sure, it could have been an incorrect read, but that looked overly ambitious, jumping through smokes involved. That could have caught Seoul off guard another time where they're like, there's absolutely no way this happens. They were prepared for it, and they even adjusted for the rotations as well, not getting over antsy or simply barreling into the site after the initial 2 frags.
Let's also keep in mind that NORDAVIND has been playing this really interesting but very aggressive style throughout this game. You know, we've seen them pushing up mid and flanking from despawn from mid. You almost never see that. We see Groman constantly being happy to take control of the B tunnels. And, you know, they're playing this very aggressive style of CT play, which I believe is the correct thing to do in the current metagame of Dust 2. But they're taking it to an extreme extent. So, you know, maybe that was just part of all of that, you know, jumping through smokes over there. I personally almost never liked that early on in a round, especially from CT side. But hey, it is what it is. If it had worked, we would have been going crazy. Unfortunately, we're not. That means it didn't work. And so they've been given a lifeline.
No, crazy plays aside, Sora taking this round out very slowly. NORDAVIND standardized positions as well. They've got the bit of a surprise element in HS towards Goose. While NATO will try his best to draw the attention over at the AWP. These smokes and the utility being thrown his way make things incredibly difficult. He committed. He could not have fallen back from that fight. HS will try his hand and play of his own. and they all line up. The flash for himself, it brings them back into the round, but Zor are still fighting tooth and nail. Just and Muterus, they still have a firm enough control of sight, and while Muterus struggles to get himself into a rendezvous position, NORDAVIND are grouping themselves up for a 2 versus 1 if possible. Muterus, though, a great position being taken up.
He's in the perfect spot to cut them off, but Croman somehow gets that kill. Now, though, they have to contend with Just and his AWP, which is very ready to take them down at these long-range angles. So Just hold the position.
Oh, no.
Tensky crosses. He's taking the duel, and Just will take it away. It looked like it would have been a NORDAVIND wipeout. It really did. HS, you can see that flashbang coming in, the replay over here lines them up perfectly, but after that, Just has 3 kills to bring them back. There you have it.
Yeah, and it got a bit worried there for Just as well, because that reposition, he tried to get there before he was within earshot, but just falling in towards CT, the audio cue was there, and that's why Tensky was so clued into it. Wasn't sure if it was short or the spawn. But now, like you said, a lifeline in a couple rounds prior, now it should be an easier state of affairs. It's just pistols for the CT side, so a gap closer is certainly at hand. While they're hoping to take advantage of this, getting caught out with nades. Harry finds the kill on Muterus. In the secondary frag, they're going even in the trades just with pistols, and they've gotten their hands on rifles as well.
Well, Just is at least in a good position. He's smoked off the doors. Maybe they can bring it together, but the problem is they have an AWP, which makes things very tricky. Just, he's taking first point. HS is down. Croman's picked up the AK and reposition, but NATO came through the smoke at the perfect time. Arky's in a 1v2 with the AWP. He's repositioned to give himself a chance at 2 isolated 1v1 duels. He's playing this correctly, but can he win it as regardless? Croman has been a beast, and he will roar out loud as he takes Arky down. A full USP round, not a single piece of utility, just USPs. Oh my god, dude.
I hate that I say things like they should just be.
What's wrong with you? Why'd you have to be like this and ruin Saul's fun?
That's just something that should never happen. Especially if you're the first player out. I understand that he wants to get some utility down towards spawn, but that one kill that starts things off is what catalyzes the reaction. NORDAVIND, like, okay, we get that one kill, they throw the smoke, just rush them down. They don't have the numbers where everybody is here to trade and flank and just get ready for the fight. And they're playing risk-free, just pistols.
NORDAVIND. That's just one of those rounds where even you're not sure how you got it, but you're happy that you did. Saul really dropping the ball there, unfortunately. But let's see how it goes. Roman takes the first duel, takes the man down. That's an important kill as well. Aegis has been big, but NATO Sophics, who's come through, puts through the Molotov as well. But he doesn't realize the players, they're all coming in from behind. Harry, Molly's out in front of him. Ramp will be mollied off, but Arky can still get onto the site from the little box. This is still a very difficult retake because Croman can be caught out. Stadodo flashed up entirely. Croman will not go for the peak yet. Mollies him off again. He's just buying time for the op not to be looking over towards short, but NORDAVIND still can't get any ground in. The bomb's not planted yet, but Harry comes in to take down Stadodo. He's very low. Just will not be able to take him down. Croman is taking so much time away from these players, and Arky will be next to fall. Tensky to take him down turns it into a 1v2. They're both trying to peek them at the same time with the verticality, and Tensky works that perfectly. Croman, I know he doesn't get any kills, but he played that round so incredibly well. He kept 2 players constantly distracted for him.
Yeah, just creating space for his team, just buying time as well. I don't know what to say. I'm really, really confused as to what is happening in some of these rounds, just because, sure, it seems as though like NORDAVIND are playing this kind of disrespect Counter-Strike, and you can see why. They're taking these ambitious fights where, you know, maybe they lose it, but they're still, so they get a man advantage. They're willing to take a couple more risks, and so aren't punishing.
And I think that's been, what, 3 rounds where we've seen players getting caught with grenades in their hands now?
Yeah.
It's, you know, sometimes you're just having a bad day, in all fairness. You know, sometimes it seems like every decision you make, just something's going wrong. You put on a smoke and suddenly you see, a random flying USB in front of you. But there's definitely, questions to be asked. And hopefully Saw can answer them moving into this. They can still bring it back to a 9-6, definitely. CT, utility isn't great right now in this round. They won off of a single player alive, so Saw still has a very good chance in this.
Yeah, they did such a good job in the series yesterday of bouncing back after a slow start. Especially on their own map pick. Hope that they have greater confidence to do so. Playing out the round a little slower, some utility expended over towards A that NORDAVIND don't seem to be reacting to whatsoever. Seems as though they have the read. I mean, they've got 3 players positioned over at B. They're just locking down long control. They're playing a retake A bomb site, and Saw aren't going to be able to capitalize on that at all.
Well, HS, he's going to be able to catch one off. Keeps the spray going. Flash is perfect from Croman. And HS and Croman go down, but NATO's right there to trade. Tensky in position, but that position is compromised by Roman, who's still going to keep on going. Unfortunately, no bomb. Yep, and that's where he peeks out. He's scouted out by the AWP. NATO's happy to re-peek, and Harry's happier to get that kill out. 10-3. And NORDAVIND are getting themselves into a very, very convincing lead. And look at this. HS finds that first kill. And that's a spacing issue right there, Yumi. Because Arky is not supposed to check that angle. So if anyone's looking at this saying, Arky, why aren't you? Arky's not supposed to. First player almost never checks close angles. He almost always jumps across because that gives time to the second player to get a favorable duel. And you're relying on the M4s not being able to immediately one-tap you down, especially while you're jumping. But the second player behind Arky, he was just too far away. And that's when, Arky, he dies, the flashbang comes in, second player can't even trade. So, just some unfortunate stuff coming out from the Saw camp where these very, very, very small mistakes are compromising them very greatly.
And that's the thing, right? It's not just that one isolated round. We've had now a few moments where players have lined up for sprays from Croman, from HS. Now we have instances where they're not really lining up for HS in that particular round where he's holding outside of the B bomb site, but still there shouldn't be these issues where a player is having to check angles they don't usually have to clear. So these, like you said, these small details are breaking down for Saw on their own map.
And HS is here with the AK, but he's not good for 2. As a result of that, Harry will be left to do a lot of dirty, dirty work. Harry peeks out for 1, looking for more. Not brought down yet, but Roman and Muterus both coming in with kills of their own. They leave Croman alone. 1 versus 2, has to get to 3K to finish this off. He's had a few 3Ks so far, but this one is particularly difficult. Doesn't realize there's a player over in car. Could just be stabbed in the back, and Roman is happy to do so. 10-4, and NORDAVIND, their money is now gone. So Saw, if you finish at a 5-10, let's not forget yesterday. Yesterday against Alternate Attacks, that's exactly what happened. They finished at 5-10. Alternate Attacks got reset towards the end of their CT half the exact same way, Yumi. So maybe we see them bringing things back on CT where they look very comfortable.
Yeah, that is certainly a possibility. And it's as well that NORDAVIND find themselves in this spot considering how aggressive they have been playing. It's more so been throwing bodies at the problem and just hoping the mechanics carry them forward. That, Saw have this opportunity presented to themselves, and all the aggressive nature doesn't stop there. Pistols in hand, NATO's trying to take some space away through middle, and although he does get spotted out by Stadodo, that does cause a bit of issues. Just a few, as they are now concerned about a potential flank through suicide. But now they set their sights on this A bomb site. NORDAVIND are here in presence. There's 4 players in close proximity.
Tensky's Beagle could be big if he gets a bit of a one-way here, Yumi. They don't want to lose that much, but Tensky reveals himself, can't get that kill. Now he's being fired back on Arky. Can't see because he's blind. Croman's flash is perfect, and so is that B9 kill. Tensky chimes in. It's a 2 versus 1. Stadodo is able to bring it back to 1v1, but Croman's position is still not known. There was too much chaos, and the bomb isn't in his hands. Croman is playing that angle very well. But Stadodo's got the superior weapon and the superior firepower. He wins out that 1v1. Crucial as well. It got so close there, Yumi.
Just a cluster of a round. So many bodies. They even lost track of Croman towards the end. You could see Stadodo was concerned about short. And I can only assume was somebody screaming in his ear. He could be sight, and just had to play it confidently in the 1v1.
And well, our boys at LootBet, good old Power Up pals and partners, they're just doubling in on their odds, and you can see why. 123 to 3.9 for Saw. I think that's might be a little bit unfair given what we saw yesterday, but I'm also biased because I think Saw's CD side is just really, really good. But I also thought their T side was largely falling apart yesterday because of slacks, not because of mistakes. So maybe today's just, you know, an off day, maybe some miscommunication going on. Hopefully they can fix it on this half as Roman finds that first kill very nicely down mid.
Yep, NORDAVIND do take some space towards short, so with the man advantage, at least have the indicator that's a possibility, but still playing the angles, still hoping to not over-rotate. Then that Muterus can deliver. Flashes over, he's able to dodge them out, and Roman there as well to prevent any sort of push through spawn, but he does get overwhelmed eventually. The site now taken by the NORDAVIND side into equal numbers, but Stadodo pushes through a smoke as well. Now suddenly they've lost that advantage that started off this round, and they have to retake things through. No kit on either of these players, but Croman overstaying his welcome towards spawn does equalize the affair.
P250s do at least give them the range advantage. HS has found one, needs to quickly tap away on Just and bring it down. He can drop down if he wants to. The jumping accuracy of the P250 is decent, but Just that quick tap saves the day entirely. And also, that's what, 3 people who died because they went through a smoke or something, including from NORDAVIND. It's a bit of an odd round to start things off, but Saw are happy with it. Unfortunately, this is what I believe is the hardest round in the game, which is where the T's have had a bomb pond, and you're the CT side.
Yep, both teams will buy into this, and well, with NORDAVIND, like you said, getting that bomb planted, Galils are invested, NATO's on the scout, just to get some information as well. Maybe some early tags. And no such luck for the NORDAVIND side. No differences, no changes from the Saw mentality on the CT side. No overly aggressive plays in towards the lower tunnels we got to see from NORDAVIND. A bit more standard proceedings. Well, this angle being taken up by Arky could have been dangerous for Harry, but does reposition himself away. So likely to take Sanctuary in this B-bomb site. Good early tag onto Otari though, and well, Muterus is able to finish off that frag.
And he follows up, more damage being done. So this scout on Arky, which we've touted for being incredibly deadly, it's coming into play a little bit. Muterus with the Famas holding a bit of an awkward Famas angle, but it can work against inferior firepower compared to the AKs. It can definitely come into play. I'm more curious to see how Stadodo plays this though, because Stadodo playing from car is going to be the linchpin of long. And that's where a lot of the NORDAVIND aggression is going to be coming in from.
Yeah, they won't have a Molotov to flush him out into the open either, so if he just plays it patient, could be an instrumental performance over towards the A site. Muterus just jump spotting, trying to get some information as to how far they've progressed. And well, he'll peek out his little head that NATO will spot it out. This lines things up wonderfully for the possibility of Stadodo to make a play. Gets the 2 he needs to, drops the bomb exposed towards long. And while HS is left to lurk, NATO needs to get this bomb into his possession and onto the site. But there's still another player here in Muterus, and he gets it done. Roman firing aggressively through the smoke will eventually track down HS, who's found a slither of HP, just dodging bullets left and right.
If I don't move, they won't see me. A really, really good round from Stadodo though there. You can see him just, like you said, patience was the key. He also knew that he had a player in Roman playing from CT spawn who can provide him a lot of cover fire in case they're coming in up close and personal. So that setup was generally very nice from Saw after they got into the 5v4. So always appreciate that. Molotov going out early and just making sure that NORDAVIND on their Glocks can't get too many kills. You know, a couple of P250s and an Eagle as well, but I like the 2 flashes at least. That's something I mentioned yesterday as well. I have a pet peeve, which is that if teams do not get a single flash, it's just heartbreaking for me.
Yeah. Oh, okay.
Oh, okay.
Dinks with Glocks and followed up by the Deagle. There's at least a response there from Stododo, and the bomb's in a position where he can at least spawn it out, make sure that they can't recover it too easily. So he's consistently taking fights, but he's doing so by himself. There doesn't seem to be too many supportive elements. We have Muterus off of short, trying to get some semblance of help, but Stododo is just continually taking these fights because he knows he has the rifle, but the Deagle is still in play, and that could be dangerous.
Even the P250 is really good long range, to be honest. I am, especially when you're 62 HP, this is a curious repeaks coming up from him. He is fortunate enough that he doesn't have to contend with the immediate death that can come in. Flashbanging themselves through the smoke is NORDAVIND. They aren't going to find anything though. Arky is just here as a cleanup crew. Harry was very good on this angle. Arky will be no less for now at least, but now comes out the gun round. Now comes out the true test for Saw.
I need to start playing A site if I'm ever on Dust 2, because it seems like everybody's just tapping players away, just having a good time.
And when I do that, I just get tapped. So there's taps one way or another. It's just not ordinarily my way.
Well, now back onto rifles for the NORDAVIND side. So far, it's been a good start to the half for Salt. They got the 3 rounds in a row that they were looking for to close that distance, but this is where it all really counts. No AWP on this NORDAVIND side, so Stododo largely uncontested, but... And well, oh, okay. Muterus as well, getting aggressive through towards middle. He can contain them in towards long.
This is one of the more traditional counters to the immediate bit rush, which is just to send a person up mid very, very quickly because of the sheer amount of manpower we generally need. It's surprising that NORDAVIND don't have someone checking their flank, but that could be very deadly. Arky has to be deadly here, though. Perfect one-way smoke for him to position and find 3, not the 4th, but he's done enough. HS will finally take him down. This 2v4 could not be more difficult when you've got Muterus coming in from the back lines to close it off. Densky to fall. HS will stop the plant, trying to get some kills, but Saw will play that perfectly. Arky. It's not very often you see that smoke being used so effectively, but that was perfection on a plate. Look at that.
Yeah, wonderful stuff. The one-way smoke in which he can see them before they can even react in time. Arky getting 3, sealed the round in, continues the spree for Saul. It almost seemed an identical sort of round that we would expect to see from NORDAVIND on their CT side as well, where players are lining up. There's aggressive plays in which they're containing and making sure that there's appropriate reactions. Saul had exactly that, so a taste of their own medicine now that they're on the T side as well. And given that that was their full investment round, only a half buy coming into this one. No, not too many flashes in the NORDAVIND side though. They've expended most of them already.
Well, we have seen, you know, a couple of rounds where Saw dropped the ball, but this time they're playing much more defensively. I really, really appreciate this when you're recognizing that you're up against the Eagles and Tech 9s more likely than not. You don't want to do what Stododo was doing before against unarmored opponents where, you know, he's re-peeking mid continually to keep the pressure on. Now, though, Stododo misses that shot that looked like it was completely on point, but he must have just accidentally flicked it a bit. Arky is forced to reload, but they can't push through the smoke to punish him for it, as he does have some backup. Bomb is down. Now things get tricky because Densky with the Tech 9, he's just going to be taking this long-range duel against the AWP, even wins it and gets more damage onto Muterus, who's now on 29 HP. So this keeps on getting harder. HS with a quick kill. Great angle, but can't find the second. That'll go to Harry as he takes down Just, who is trying to creep in from short. Roman, who's moved forward, is spotted, will be brought down, and NATO Safix with 2 kills over there. What a round from them. This is why you can't give up the bomb site for free to Tech 9s. And unfortunately, fingers have to be pointed at Stododo, who the entirety of Saul was relying on, that you're playing from car, you'll be able to at least get 1 or 2 kills while they're coming up short, and then our retake becomes possible. But because he misses that first shot and he's forced to back off, it's unfortunate. He even misses another shot later on to Harry.
Yeah, the fact that he misses the first and the follow-up is really what comes back to hurt them. The AWP should have much more presence on a site like that and just fully exploit the fact that these pistols aren't that good at those longer distances. Sure, they've got good accuracy in the Deagle. The Tech 9 had a good buff in that regard as well. But even still, you've got a better arsenal of weapons. You've got the utility as well as an inexcusable round, and it's the second one of its nature we've seen. This time there was a bit more of an investment from NORDAVIND on their T side, but they've won that USP round on their CT side as well. So they've now had 2 instances where it should just be straightforward wins that ultimately result in a round for their opponent.
Well, I will say that Sol has been very good on their CT side so far. So that is a small mistake, but it's one that can come back to bite them when you're already down 9-11. So Arky has to come up big. The Farmers won't find any kills yet. He backs off and he's waiting for help to come in, but help is not there. Muterus unfortunately can't push forward in time, and Sudodo's been flashed up. There's 2 players playing car, which can always be fun, but it can also be very scary if you're both going to get mollied off. Now, on the bright side, actually, they don't even have a smoke. Never mind. Roman's the one with the smoke. Sudodo goes down. Muterus as well will fall. They're checking all their angles, they're dotting all their I's and crossing their T's, but they missed a smoke. Unfortunately for Saw, they can't punish and just backs off, trying to get to safety, but he's been spotted and he will be brought down soon. NATO suffix to take his life away. 3 kills for NATO in that round. And the 12th for NORDAVIND.
And that's heartbreaking, right? You start to get close, you start to get within touching distance of your opponent, you're about to equalize the affair, you lose the Tech 9s, the pistols, and then you just get run over towards long. The fact that they lose that opening kill, I like to see the initiative there from Sudodo, trying to take some space away, maybe catch them off guard as he begins to repeak, but more missed shots just keep coming through, and sort of unfortunate timings as well, because he could have caught NATO Safix out. He had his teammate there to support as well. Just the hold crumbles as a whole. Just hope the mentality doesn't begin to... or the result of these previous rounds don't begin to weigh on the minds of these Seoul players. Because this... I mean, we look at their statistics on this map. They are very confident on Dust 2. And it hasn't been a confident showing.
Alright, NATO Safix missing a few shots as well. Muterus does punish Croman for that, but fortunately for NATO, unlike Sudodo earlier on, he is not completely alone. He's got 4 riflers with him who say, don't worry, NATO, you carried the previous round, we got through this one. And, you know, NATO's score is also quite impressive. He's 18 for 12, but forget NATO, you've got HS sitting on 26 kills and 15 deaths. Now, a lot of that did come from the CD side, but we are still seeing him continue his form over here as well.
Yeah, and especially in the ecosystem we have in Counter-Strike has sort of lent more towards being save dependent and, you know, identifying lost rounds. We've had so much fighting. There's so many players with high kill scores on both teams. And well, look at the play in from NORDAVIND. They get Croman in towards Pit by himself. All the flashes, they weren't able to identify it fast enough. And Saw are on the retreat. Croman almost lines up a secondary kill as well. And it's unpunished. There's no trade. Sort of giving up that map position. And they haven't really had to compete with all too much. They can just sit Croman in here and go about the rest of their day, maybe even progress onto the site because Saw have given it up and are aggressing elsewhere.
Harry barely misses them coming into the lower tunnels. He does spot the second player, and he is getting the headshot from that range. Roman, however, misses his headshot from a much closer range, and HS with a flashbang to force Roman off of position will now chuck out a Molotov as well. HS is happy to play this game all day long. He's got 3 players coming in from behind. The problem is just Sudodo. As long as he can take him down, that would be huge, and HS will get that kill any day of the week.
Yeah, this B-bomb site is looking weaker and weaker as time goes on, but Tensky's clearing out through long. There's 40 seconds left on the clock. They're happy to reposition. Apex is still taking names. In fact, he just wins the round by himself, pushing out through the tunnels, gets the last 2 kills. A 14th round for NORDAVIND as they are getting oh so close to shutting out this first map. A map that I felt for the series, and I think we both kind of echoed that same point, was a big dependency.
I thought it was a definite win for Seoul personally. Yeah. They were so impressive yesterday on the CT side especially, but just not the same today. Can I just quickly ask, was greenery always in lower tunnels? Because I just saw plants in lower tunnels. I've never seen those before.
It's one of those things where, you know, you point to the B or the A apartments on Mirage, right? You look up. Have you seen those plants before? So many people didn't.
Yeah. No, but there's literal
one of those
plants
things
on top of the door, under the crates. Like I've never seen it. I don't know, man. It's just strange stuff for me. But Muterus, he has gone down, unfortunately, early on. Not able to find a quick kill with the deagle that he needed. Ace just pushes through the smoke. He's feeling so confident at this point, but losing the AK could come back to bite them. Stododo, however, will not be biting them. Roman, AK at the ready, takes that duel, but it's just to win it. Tensky is fallen, and so is Roman. Very soon after, followed up by Just. There you go, 15-9. NATO, he's feeling it. He wants to convince us that no, he should be opping.
I mean, the worst thing is, right? Like, I'm right there with you. NATO's been impressive, but what is HS doing? This guy's on 31 kills. There are still potentially 6 rounds to play, and he's just had an absolute stormer. Like you said, so much confidence on this man at the moment. Pushing through smokes, doesn't really matter. He's getting put in awkward positions, and he's still coming out ahead, and they're barreling towards this B bomb site. The opening pick by NATO is enough of a indicator that this bomb site is weakened, and they get the site. HS with another kill. Stododo trying desperately to claw something back, but he just falls victim to the exact same thing. The site is in their control, and Seoul need to compete with this because the map is just about done, and I think we're about ready to write this off. Harry going for more. He just wants the stats himself. Muterus trapped within a corner. Can he bail them out?
No.
Yep, simple as that.
Yeah. I'm sorry. HS was on the other side. HS was having an absolutely huge performance over there too. Now, listen, I don't want to take anything away from Seoul. Absolutely not. I think they were fantastic. Yes, they don't Dust 2, but today was not the same Seoul that we saw yesterday. Their spacing was a little bit awkward. They were having these weird little moments where, you know, the first person isn't quite... The first person who's entering in doesn't have the support behind him. They're having these moments where, you know, they're losing to pistol rounds. Stododo is missing a lot of very crucial, very key shots. And unfortunately, overall, although their individuals were definitely there, I just didn't feel like they were there as a team.
Yeah, it seemed like there was just a loss of confidence as well. After those first sort of opening 8 rounds that we had from NORDAVIND, where they were constantly pushing the boundaries, just kind of no respect Counter-Strike. Even when we come into the series, you expect a lot of respect, given that NORDAVIND aren't too comfortable on Dust 2 as a whole, and this is Seoul's best map out of their map pool. They've seen the best results on it. Their confidence should be sky high, and to have an opponent disrespect you like that, it seemed to shake them, and it really seemed to plague that entire map.
Yeah, I think they had an 87% win rate on it or something on those lines. So very, 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 very good on the map, obviously. But now I have to shower praise on NORDAVIND, because from the beginning to the end, there were definitely players who stood out, and, you know, HS was one of them. But I want to first of all give a quick shout out to Croman for being the perfect B-side anchor on the CT side. Like, a lot of that was enabled by the fact that they're rushing lower tunnels as well. So he does feel very confident. It's okay. I can just, you know, go in, and if I die, I'll probably trade 1 for 1. It's okay. But he was such a menace.
Yeah, they had to be extra cautious about those B tunnels in particular, because he set a precedent very early on. I'm not scared of your default. I don't think you're going to be here in time. And it happened to be that they weren't. They were unable to clear it in a timely enough fashion.
Well, listen, we still have another map on our hands. We're going to go towards that and be back in just a bit. Next one coming up is NORDAVIND's map pick. Maybe Saw can do what NORDAVIND did to them on that one. It's Inferno. We'll be back in just a bit. Welcome back to Malta Vibes, brought to you by Gaming Malta, a home of gaming excellence. We've got ourselves map number 2 coming up soon between Saw and NORDAVIND. The first map, not quite what we expected. I had gone as far as saying, oh yeah, no, NORDAVIND cannot win this in 2. It's just not possible. They're not winning Dust 2. I had a very strong stance on that. And NORDAVIND reminds me why it's not good to have a very strong stance on anything, as they do kind of run away with the game. They do kind of demolish Saw on their own map pick, 16-9. The question is, what's Inferno going to look like?
I think there's very worrying signs that we can pull away from Dust 2. You've got HS, Chrome, and you've got the same sort of elements that we saw a great performance from NORDAVIND yesterday on Inferno, where if that still translates over, it's very hard to be consistent like that in a full best of 3 series. But if they are, and Saw is in for a world of trouble, because I was right there with you. I thought that was a must win and a pretty firm win for the Saw camp. There shouldn't have been any doubt that that was their map to lose, and well, they did lose it. So now the question becomes, do we get to see this sort of slow start, reawakened Saw that we saw yesterday, where they lose the first map and then come back to win the series 2-1, or do they just flop? Because at the moment, all signs seem to indicate the latter.
Well, listen, you can see on the screen we've got the map veto, Dust 2, Inferno's up next, Vertigo's the ender. I'm not going to talk about the series yet. I think it's more important to focus on Inferno for now, because I have very little faith in Saw's Vertigo after yesterday, unless they were able to patch out quite a few things. One thing that I will say is HS just had the game of his life in Dust 2. He went 33-16. He had 130 ADR. His rating was 188. So you can obviously see why it's incredibly difficult to do anything when a player is just going off like that. And on the other hand, on the Saw camp, you had the opposite happen, where a couple of their players just weren't feeling that map. You saw Stododo miss a lot of easy shots where he should have definitely landed them. And that's not going to happen every map on either side. You're not going to see Stododo missing that many easy shots, but you're also not going to see HS being 33-16 map to map. So have some faith in Inferno if you're for Saw if you're watching, but also be very careful about going all in on them, because at the same time, if you look down below the scoreboard for NORDAVIND, you had NATO coming in and he was quiet. So we were never like really harping on oh my god, NATO is a great player. It was more about Croman, it was more about HS, but NATO came through quietly with a 21-12 scoreline, a 134 rating, and 75 ADR, which is not great, but when you consider he was opping in that predominantly, that's obviously very, very important as well. Keep in mind that although HS might not have the hottest game, the rest of NORDAVIND is definitely feeling it. The only player I would say, who wasn't having a great game was Tensky, who went 9-16, who unfortunately had a terrible game right there. But, this is where I need to see more from Saw personally.
Yeah, and all the chips have to fall on the table for all the expectations are set for Saw to show us something different, because that is not the best version of themselves. We saw a great... I was very impressed. Having it be my first time getting to sort of cast and watch them sort of live at the event, effectively. I was very impressed by the mental fortitude to just reset between maps and have these confident players and have all these fallbacks in the likes of Arky, Roman, Muterus, like we talked about before.
Yeah.
And we expect those same names to come up to the table once again. This has to be the moment that it put it to bed. Okay, we had a bad first map. It's not our most confident showing. Even on the maps we're less comfortable on as a whole, we're still going to show up. And they need to do something to shut down this momentum that seemed to be rising out of the NORDAVIND camp, because it didn't seem like they were slowing down. They were getting better as the time went on.
Yeah. Well, I have to give a quick shout out to Muterus as well on the Saw side. He came through top right for his team, was very effective throughout. We saw time and time again, although he wasn't in the best positions, he was bringing them into a place where they could have won the round. So Muterus being alive on Inferno will obviously be a very big deal and a very big factor. For me, the one thing to keep in mind as well is that Just had started to kick things into first gear later on. He was really accelerating his gameplay towards the second half. He was really bringing things together. We saw a few very good moments from him, getting multi-kills, saving a few rounds for his teams. So Just is another player who yesterday on Inferno had a few very important clutch moments. So having Just and Muterus as your foundation in itself is very, very good to start with. But now I'm not even gonna say I need Sedota to step up. I need Archie and Roman to step up. You know, Inferno, T side, the op is never supposed to be the one that's really going insane unless you've got Guardian from the good old days. But I need Archie and Roman to be the ones coming up and saying, all right, we're going to step up and we're going to go into it. And now that the knife round is live, let's see what side they can land on and let's see how things go for them.
Yeah, I think that they get themselves to the CT side. I don't often put too much weight in these, in the knife rounds. I do think it impacts you fairly heavily, but just to get a bit more confidence rolling, get the ball rolling in terms of individuals kind of shining through and who needs to be in that limelight for this particular map, that should become apparent. And I think the CT side is a good enough place to start. I personally, I'm of the perspective, okay, never mind, they don't even get the side choice, so that one's a clean sweep. But I personally have the perspective that I feel like I want to give Stood a little bit more benefit of the doubt. Seen a limited sample size for him thus far. I think this is the map where we get to see the best version of himself.
Oh, I completely agree with you. But for me, it's not that I don't think Sedota will step up. It's more that the requirements of Inferno on the T side make it different.
Yeah.
So on the T side of Inferno, you don't need your operator to step up, and we've got our loot bet odds, which are actually a little bit less towards NORDAVIND than what I expected. Our good old pals, good old partners at Loopet saying that it's 145 to 262. Honestly, I thought it would be more of like a 130 to maybe 2.9 or something on those lines. But you know what? Saw definitely have shown us in the past that they can get out a good Inferno. So I guess I can understand both logics. And they've got themselves 3 sets of utility on their D side. Wow.
And it doesn't seem like the theme for NORDAVIND changes. From map to map, they go for the aggressive push down middle. We saw this yesterday as well, but it goes catastrophically wrong. They lose out on every single one of the duels that kind of required to get that particular setup working. And while NATO will try desperately to find a frag over at B, Croman is being pressured towards the A bomb site, where the brunt of the aggression is heading from Salt. Croman playing the headshot angle, does get the one, but he's lost his teammate. It all comes down to Croman, and he has no HP to play off of and too many players to find. It's a good start to the T side by a pistol by Sol.
Yeah, NORDAVIND, they get the flashbang early in, and 2 of the players in the T side are flashed up. But Sol, one thing that we will never doubt about them is their individual capability with pistols, as they do have some insane Deagle players. They do have some insane Blanc players as well. But they come through, they immediately bounce back, and they take them down. So Saw don't even need to pull off their 6 strats, which they had 3 sets of utility for. They're just comfortable taking the round away.
And of course, we get the buy-in response to these SMGs out from NORDAVIND. Nothing overly crazy, just the 3 players over towards the site. Got the fast rotation as well available in NATO Sapphics, and there's a lack of information from both sides, really. There's not been too many tells, too many nades expended over towards Banana from this T side either. Nothing outside of the ordinary at the very least. They are trusting HS to simply lock out this bomb site, or at least get some sort of early indicator that it may not be a B-sided play, but he's actually beginning to cheat himself slightly over so that he has a faster rotation to this B site, and it seems like Sor are on a collision course to the stack.
Moving again, he's got the back end, opens things up, but NATO Suffix with the running CZ can come through with more. He does get the reload as well. The question is, do they realize where Tensky is? He's right behind the smoke. They're not going to be expecting this, but they don't check it. But there's Muterus to come in, always there to clean up, always there to make sure everything's going to be fine. HS does get a very important shot, though. It'll let him pick up the MAC-10, which probably won't be too relevant as he wants to stick to the 1 bullet potential. Actually, no, the 5.7 doesn't have that anymore. My bad. HS pulls out the MAC-10, maybe realizing the same thing.
Well, if he gets a little bit of cash here with the SMG bonus, that'd be a nice little bonus for him. Hoping that the Soul players find themselves in the crosshair, and while he goes to take a fight, there's the double peek there from Soul. keeping 3 alive. They keep the rifles primarily as well, which is important. And they should now sort them down to just pistols on the NORDAVIND side. I thought maybe
keep an MP9, which is obviously the best gun in the game.
True. Good running accuracy, good jumping accuracy.
Yeah.
And especially against these anti-ecos. Yeah, just the fact that I sort of came into it thinking, oh, Sol might want to start on the CT side, but a good start to that T side is always a welcome sign as well.
And they did struggle a bit on their T side yesterday against attacks as well. I mean, you know, we didn't get to see all of it because it was the second half and they did just win. But they went 6 for 6, if I remember correctly. So, you know, not the best in the world. They let attacks have a few moments where they were coming alive, coming back into it. But it's good to see them with the pistol round win and the translations after that. 4 players on NORDAVIND are playing over towards B with nades already, though. And those nades, well, they won't really be doing much. No one coming their way. At this point, it's all about maybe you go for some exits with the nades. At the same time, Sodoto does have the MP9, so you don't want to give over too much money towards the upper.
Yeah, even the prospect of attempting sort of a Doja-esque nade would be hindered by this man. Yeah.
Ooh.
Okay. Warning
Sodoto,
shots, rung his bell.
Just trauma comes in from the previous game. He's like, nope, I know what a USP means. I am not going up against that.
You can see they took time to plant this bomb as well, just so that they had a bit more information as to where NORDAVIND were. No, just making sure they're not getting flanked. There's no surprises from these pistols. They expect the avenue of attack from the CT side, should there be any.
Arky now wants his turn on trying to get some money up. He says, get over to me. Pulls out the USB as well. He's just running a full TF2 spy costume, bringing out all the CT utility and the CT weaponry. Finds that early kill. HS will trade, but it's only an MP9 taken backwards. Actually, I'd say only an MP9, but I wouldn't mind seeing that in the hands of Kroman or Tensky in the next round. They don't have very much money. That could be a factor.
Well, we'll see how the money is handled. You can still kind of buy up an AWP if you're NORDAVIND. There could have been a world in which HS could have dropped that over, so you can still afford up armor, if I'm not mistaken. Of course, that would have been a few too many compromises, it seems, for the NORDAVIND side, and so instead, keeping the SMG, like we were saying, but it's in HS's hands, and the rifles accompany him.
I want to see some aggression on the back of this. So they've sent 4 players over towards Banana early on just to make sure they have some sort of control. And now immediately 3 of them are rotating back. And we've seen this become more and more common in Inferno, where early on you just fortify Banana and say, they're not going to rush A. HS, however, with the MP9, flashbang is there, gets a lot of information, sees 2 players, pulls out a Molotov as well. Kroman's here to back him up. M4 will bring down Roman. And the AK-47 immediately picked up by HS is getting aggressive. Muterus is spotted, but Muterus will take him down nonetheless. HS not quite the victor of that exchange, as his teammates now are trying to figure out where exactly Saw is destined to go. 55 seconds on the clock, and Arky finds another one. Harry will turn things into a 4v3 in the favor of Saw. Roman wanting to fight back. Arky has spotted him out, clears out Pit, but they don't realize that 2 of these players are already headed over towards the B site, potentially to save, but the question is how many can Kroman get? If he finds 2 kills, then it's a 2v2, and they're definitely going to be going for this. But that'll be a mistake. He finds 1, could be 2, sees the other one coming up from the side, but Kroman was expecting another T-side player to be coming in from behind Sodoto. Unfortunately for him, just wasn't the case.
Starting to get a few glimpses of the lineups we saw in Dust 2, but this time it doesn't quite work out in NORDAVIND's favor, and those small instances go a long way. Having moments where you shouldn't have died to a double kill, or you shouldn't have given a player 2 frags, and instead getting away and getting the bomb planted safely, so are beginning to build a bit of momentum, and while winning this rifle round helps in doing exactly that. Could have been shaken from Dust 2, but coming in with a bit of a better mentality, and those opening kills from Arky is in the apartments in particular were very, very crucial in terms of making that site far more exposed and putting all that pressure on Croman.
Yep. Muris as well, being able to take down HS, even though HS had the AK and Muris just had the Galil. That was also incredibly important over there. If HS is alive, Arky can't even get into apartments. Now, though, you will see the off pulled out. NATO Safix has had that dropped over to him. They've got a full buy because they did, of course, save quite a bit of money on HS before. This time, it's actually Tensky and Croman who've got the extra money, courtesy of being able to save. Now, just... he's leading in NATO Safix. This is the angle we saw him get the 3K from yesterday, and he starts off strong, but Muris was ready to trade away through the smoke and through the plywood.
Yeah, this time able to punish the peaks from NORDAVIND. A 1-for-1 exchange always favors this T side. The information that's gained that they'll be stretched a little thin on the defenses means that holes begin to open up. These arches are looking mighty fine for Salt. Need to begin their progression on towards this A site. The rotation is coming in from NORDAVIND, so they are very aware that this is a possibility, but Tensky may fall into the trap, or maybe it's a trap of his own making. Instead, finding the peak, getting the kill, and HS has found one over towards short as well, but now Spawn is left into the T side clutches. Harry posted with the AWP, knows that this is a possibility. The flash will deter him for now. They'll hope to play the numbers game instead, play for the retake of the site, and concede it to Soul, but they're hot on their heels.
Well, Croman finds Roman in a compromised position, and Muris is left even further compromised. A 1v3 with 35 seconds on the clock. The important thing for him here is just to get damage. Harry is being very careful, does not want to lose the AWP, but he will. And although that can be picked up later on, now it's a 1v2, which is much more doable. Muris in possession of the bomb, leaning forward closer and closer. Croman's on top of the bench, so he's got the elevated position. Unfortunately, though, that one extra death, that goes a long way. Good thing for them, though, is the fact that Croman and Tensky already had $1,600 saved up in the previous round. Otherwise, you see a very bad buy coming in here.
Yeah, and the money is not exactly perfect on the Soul side either. We're getting to see a little bit more strain. Of course, only 5 rounds gone, but quite a few casualties as we've gone across. Surviving with 3, 2 in several rounds. There's still points to be had. Maybe it will take a couple more rounds, but oh my god, consistent. Flashbangs over towards Banana. Neither team really spots them out until far too late. Just thought he was safe from behind. Instead gets flanked out by the SMG. And, well, Harry may have just gotten away with murder. Those smokes, those Molotovs down to at least contain him, but he's called for a teammate to help out. Meanwhile, Roman probes the A side of the map to try and get some sort of a response. The smoke at least may tempt HS around it, but Arky's taking up this angle once again over to the apartments. NATO with the ult, finding another.
And that's a bomb being dropped in mid as well, which means that oh, actually, they just smoked off a molly. That is unfortunate. But Roman's in a great position, playing an off angle, finds Roman, takes him down. So far, this round, Saw has not been helped by smokes whatsoever. They've largely been deterred by them. Stododo and Arky, 2 versus 4. Tensky over towards the B bomb site is going to be a massive pain in the neck for them, as well as potentially other more compromising positions. Stododo and Arky recollect themselves. All right, Tensky misses a bit of a few shots. Sloppy spray over there. Unfortunately, not been having the series you want to see from him. Croman, in the meanwhile, though, does tag up Stododo even more. NATO Safix runs through the smoke there. I do not like that play whatsoever. I mean, it was very cool, but I feel like you could have kept 3 players alive over there if not for that.
This guy's getting clipped with a frag movie. He's bunny hopping over the coffins, going for no scopes just to deny the plant. And I mean, I guess it gets enough space for HS, but that is a wild play. It's still a round win for NORDAVIND. That's definitely not fundamental Counter-Strike.
What are you talking about? Am I not supposed to be doing that on 64-tick matchmaking servers?
They don't teach that one in schools.
I hope so. Well, NORDAVIND They have found a foot in the door, but that door could very well snap their foot right off should they be punished by Muteris's AK over here. He went for the hero rifle. I don't mind it, especially in his hands, especially given that the rest of his team's money means that now he's really just pretty much even with them. Harry, in the meanwhile, still wielding the trusty MP9, will be assaulted very soon. He realizes that and immediately runs away. The MP9 will ask for some assistance, will ask for some additional players to come in. But all that's done is forced away rotations. The T's, they are teasing the CT side. And now, as they head up mid, Tensky can't really get aggressive. He's very afraid of being caught off, and for good reason. Muteris is right around the corner, is going to be able to get that kill and throw the AK over to his teammate, but that teammate does not have the Kevlar.
Croman holding for that wrap. He knew it was coming. After that fight taken earlier, Croman does eventually fall victim to the crossfire that Saw had set up as they crunched in towards the site, and while they get this bomb planted, this should have been an easy enough round, but that hero AK has gone a long way. So now in a position to take this one out from under Nordavind's nose, but Harry is creeping up with the MP9. He's hoping to catch them off guard with a better timing and just wait for his teammate to get into a position where he can properly support, because he's going to be the first point of contact. Harry barreling through, just able to respond in kind. NATO with the open play, he doesn't really want to give this one over to them, and well, he's just going to try and save this instead. Saw bled them dry. They had absolutely no utility in the last minute to 50 seconds of the round, and Saw could just move up. It meant that Tensky had to take fights in towards the arches where nobody could flash for him. Typically, you have contingencies in place like that, but they just didn't have the utility to deal with those pistols, and Saw did such a good job in bleeding them dry.
Well, listen, we also have our good old case partners who are bringing you all of this fantastic Counter-Strike action. It's Hellcase, which are the biggest and most known case opening website with almost 100 cases, updated case battle upgrader, dozens of giveaways per month, and more absolutely unique features. You won't get bored with Hellcase. Use the promo codes to save more and grab what you deserve. Now, I will say over there as well, the spacing from Saw was really, really good. Because when Roman goes down with the AK, Croman waits a split second, and then he turns around to deal with short pressure because he's got the read wrong that there's only one player over. And that player coming in from behind was Just, who took down Croman, who made it possible for them to come in. Meanwhile, though, NATO Suffix was trying to get aggressive in apartments. In this round, does end up being taken down. The op now out of their hands.
Croman fancies himself a bit of a judge of his own right, but he meets the same fate. He thought he had a better angle, a better position, one that he can capitalize off of, but not going to reap the same rewards. Harry on the site, though, is able to get one. They do know exactly where he is until he begins to swarm him, but it gets one range with the MP9, but nonetheless, it still will be a Saw round. A little bit worrying on the site there. Shouldn't have been a secondary kill, but now 6 rounds for Saw on this T side. A much, much better start than we saw on Dust 2.
Hey, hey, hey. I'm sorry. I know it's not possible for you not to say that, but unfortunately, Yumi, it was said. It was said.
Unfortunately so. Well, a timeout called from Nordavind. They're looking to take a bit of a breather. We saw Saw call a similar timeout when they were behind, when they were looking to rally
The troops.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Or just,
well,
it doesn't even have to just be the troops, you know, just themselves, you know, just pat themselves on the back like, it's okay, I got this.
technically, they are the troops, so. And I just want Tensky to get up on a podium, make a speech, just go out and tell everyone to play their hearts out, and then come through and start hitting some shots on his own. Tensky, rough game for him in particular. He has been sticking out like a sore thumb, and Saw every time they can exploit him, they seem to be winning the round. Earlier on, they had quite a bit of room given to them over towards Banana once as well. This time, the past few rounds where they've reset Nordavind's momentum was off the back of arguably Tensky dropping the ball a little bit, but in all fairness, he did get the headshot, so you can't blame him all that much. Harry, right now with the Deagle, is going to be soon, though. Just goes in before he gets a chance to. And somehow Harry doesn't land that shot.
A free enough frag for Just, it seems. Even going before the utility is properly deployed, but a timing that he will happily take if it means that they get the advantage. Now, they've actually pulled a rotation away to this A site. Instead of hoping to contest B, the smokes are down. There's a likelihood that Sol could be in the bomb site by now. The NORDAVIND aren't committing too many eggs to that fight. If there is a chance that they go towards this A site, they want to reinforce it, well, now the copious amounts of utility being thrown will say, okay, we made a gamble. It's the wrong site. Try and save and make sure we don't give up these. I mean, it's deagles, it's some smokes as well that they can carry over to the next round.
What's their last bonus at? What, 3?
They should have about 2,400 coming their way.
Yeah, that's not really that much money, so... The question is, do we see NORDAVIND going for another half buy? Because I could see that happening. You know, you're probably sitting at about 4K, 4.2K average after this. That's all what you need for a CT side buy. And, you know, you save these CZs, you save some Kevlar as well. But, okay, you know, we were wrong. It was not a 3-round loss bonus at all. It was a full loss bonus.
Right, because it doesn't fully reset. Of course it doesn't, because my brain is still living in the past.
Oh, right, of course, sorry. Saw won 3 rounds in a row right
Yeah,
now. Yeah, of course. Look, guys, maths on broadcast, okay? Maths on broadcast.
It's like 4 minus 2 plus 2,
Well,
too bad though. They get
yeah,
the,
they'll
they
have
get
the
the
full
buy
buy.
they want.
That's the important point. You know, forget our math skills. We definitely did. 3 players over towards the B bomb site. Still no signs of aggression from NORDAVIND. They're not taking aggressive control over it, even though NATO, he might be the exception as he's jumped on top of the broken, or now very fixed wall. Flashbang will be coming in, just making sure that Sudodo has got the superior angle, the better advantage, and 4 players over towards the A side could be very troubling, as Saw set up for what could end up being a couple of players lost in mid if they're trying to get information. Smokes being used all over the place. NORDAVIND not too worried about using utility up early on. Now Saw, they're still yet to have an inkling of where they want to go.
Yeah, the bomb still dropped towards T steps as well. Seems to indicate that decisions haven't been made. And while the clock continues to grind down, the smokes deployed in through middle. Croman's in an elevated position where he can help out his teammate in HS, and they just demolish the push from these 2 Sol players. And the rest of the team are not far behind them, so they go and take those fights. They peer in through middle, and Croman tracking down one of the nade just left into Muteris' hands, and this crossfire, just the setup over towards the A bomb site. NORDAVIND deal with any sort of aggression that Sol put their way.
That was also a really nice angle from Croman, because you almost never see players boosting up on flower pots over there. It's almost always a direct on top of shelter boost. And Croman having that little off angle means that no one's ever going to check him, because it's also a very awkward angle to shift your mouse to. You have to go vertically up considerably more compared to the balcony angle to even be able to see more than the feet of that player when you're coming out of the boiler door. So it's really, really difficult to win that duel. It's also a closer angle. So if you have a second player playing around the short corner, you're going to be having significantly more time to support him compared to the balcony, which is about, I don't know how to describe it, but it's about a foot extra towards the left side. So just a really nice angle from Croman there.
Yeah, and the few times you'd maybe have your crosshair in a decent enough position like that is when you wouldn't have boiler control. It's when you could be concerned maybe there'd be a player on the CT side playing in boiler and you wanted to clear it. But it's a hard angle to adjust to. Well, this time we see Sol take the timeout after losing a pretty big round. I mean, they just after NORDAVIND had their own timeout, they get a nice little round win. So just making sure that there's no big issues. Not going to lose this stride that they've built up.
Croman on 11 kills has very much been the man of this map so far, but they need more players to be stepping up. NATO's not been doing much, let's be honest. It's 10 rounds in, he's on 4 kills. This is not the NATO you want to see. Similarly, HS, a little bit more quiet as well. Overall, NORDAVIND need their players to be stepping up more. We've talked about how they've got a lot of individual skill, but it's not being showcased on the server right now. HS will want to do that, though. Swings out wide, moves back through the smoke as well. So incredibly aggressive to get that early advantage. And a chunky nade over in Banana as well.
That is a criminal timing that HS has exploited. Just the fact that there's shots coming in as he retreats. He knows exactly how they're going to respond after he gets a frag like that. What a way to open things up as well. Doing things all by his lonesome. So how do you react? Are you still concerned about the apartments? Do you think that NORDAVIND are going to push the boundaries that much further? Instead, they've gone for a bait and switch and a crossfire setup in through middle. Stododo probing with the AWP, has teammates throwing utility as well alongside him, but the smoke in response from that CT side may deter them. Back towards B they'll go just to see what NATO Safix is up to.
They do have flashes, so they can force him off the angle. That's the important thing about Saw's play, that they always keep flashes to force NATO off this angle. But NATO, now he's feeling more confident. He has a player behind him. He can repeat this out if he wants to, because Tensky, that one flash is a difference maker. Unfortunately, though, Tensky is going to be regretting this rotation. Croman has come into first contact. HS swings out for more. He's got 3 kills this round. Keeps the spray going, but Stododo will be able to get the response. It won't matter, though, as Harry came in the meanwhile and took down Arky. So Harry, he swings out. He'll peek through. Bomb will get planted, and suddenly things become much more doable for Stododo in this 1v2.
Yeah, the flash indicates there's a player over towards the arches, but does he suspect that NATO's made this rotation in? Eventually, timings will tell. Stododo has to commit to one of these fights eventually, hoping that this arches player does decide to peek by his lonesome, but they've doubled up. They're moving in from short. Stododo holding the angle, not unable to hit the shot, however. That could have been a sitter. Made things more difficult for NATO as he made his way onto the bomb site, but instead they get the round. They keep 2 up. They keep the open play as well, and they get a 4th.
Huge round coming through from HS. You look at that first kill, that's great, but afterwards, Croman plays this really nicely where he's standing in the middle, and unfortunately, Saw don't recognize that that means that there could still be another player right around the corner of shelter. So HS takes advantage of that, swings out, gets a perfect spray transfer onto 2 players as well, and the third one could have been his. Stododo just comes out and kills him at the end, though. If that wasn't an op, I could have seen him going down. If he had a few more bullets, I could have seen him going down. So there is that, but Stododo, very valiant attempt as well in that round. HS again aggressive, and NATO Safix will be countering out the T-side aggression on Banana with a quick kill as well. Harry down on 2 HP, but he's okay. They can play very, very far back.
Yeah, this map isn't going very well for Seoul thus far, but these last 2 rounds, the fact that HS has gotten away with that now twice, that is a bit concerning. Just as we are about to say, and we just kind of highlighted a couple rounds before, that HS has kind of slowed down. Not quite the same performance. That's the same type of a play that he would have made on the previous map.
Molly is there. Do they have more to do? Harry with 2 HP comes in. 2 more kills for him. NATO started things off nicely. He was able to get the good old early kill. But Harry, that is criminal.
Yeah, nice little fadeaway. Why not?
Yeah. Saw's money's gone too now, Yumi.
Yeah, that one buy where we were a little bit confused as to whether the guns would be coming out, that has been the difference maker. That one round in which they've now stemmed 3 from. So are on the economic back foot. They do have that AK still invested into. Another hero one at that, this time in Just Sands. And while Croman sets himself up over towards short once more, this time on a big switch instead of a make-do crossfire with HS. Tensky there to support as well. They're just barreling on through to find these frags, get this round over with, and so only find 1 for their troubles.
That's a happy round. You keep 4 players alive, 2 AKs there for the CTs as well, 6 to 7. And this is the big one. This is the one where if Saul loses this round, You're giving up, and what should be an 8-7 for NORDAVIND in the end of the first half, which you were absolutely dominating. They were 7-2 up. And now Sodoto doesn't have the op either, and we know he's not entirely comfortable on the rifle the same way he is on an op, so lots of questions to be asked. Arky, however, will not be the one answering them. He goes down. HS finds a second. He's so good down mid. Now the third as well, as Harry came in as a distracting force. And now the T's are basically just gone out of this round already. Sodoto, he's been located. HS is looking for his fourth. He'll find it. It could even be the ace from him. Just is being hunted. He's 1 versus 4. He knows they'll go after him, and Harry steals the ace, but steals the round as well. Saw these past few rounds, they've just been falling prey to HS down mid again and again and again.
He can't keep getting away with it, man. He actually, I don't understand how he's just getting away with it round after round. He had his teammates there to support him this time around as well through second middle. If there wasn't that presence from the balcony, he likely gets traded. So he had that support, but he's still just a force to be reckoned with. He's playing so much disrespect in that there's not going to be too much presence and not fast enough reaction. And while Harry will try to gander over at Banana, not quite able to do the best in that particular instance to soften it up for the nade of NATO Sapphics. Now they're doubled up. They've slowed down the push here from Seoul, but they've established control of Banana that they are going to be happy with. Now they can investigate other parts of the map, and hopefully they don't find an HS in their face or in their back lines.
Ooh. If Croman had been a little bit earlier, that nade would have gotten 2 kills. Unfortunately, he took his time because he wanted to walk over, not reveal the fact that he has rotated. And as a result of that now, you know what? HS alone on that A-bomb site, like you said, this could be troubling, but HS himself has been trouble all day long. If you want anyone to be in this position, it's him, but he drops the ball, and with that, it's all onto Croman. Trying to steal away that 8th round, trying to take it back to an 8-7. Muterus, in the meanwhile, AK at the ready. He's had a few quieter rounds, but this one could be his biggest one yet. NATO scoped in, providing some sort of cover fire, but Croman needs to peek out soon to be able to take a few duels quickly. There's 2 players in Graveyard. You're not going to be expecting that. Very little utility. 1 flashbang in Croman's hands, which will go out and just comes in, kills him immediately. Dato's good for the trade, but trades aren't good enough because Muterus can do the same. 3 kills from Muterus, 14 and 8 to end that first half, and Saw barely get the lead.
Yeah, some solid shots there from Just to deal with that initial site pressure, get the rotation as well, and it's Muterus who seals it in. It's a bit of a rocky one towards the end. NORDAVIND seem to be just awakening at HS in some capacity, and it's very, very strange to see. We see the odds from our lovely partners over at LootBet, and if you're interested in those odds, you know, you can, of course, go over to LootBet. They offer 10 CSGO spin, or 10 free CSGO spins, and up to €100 bonus on a deposit. So there's a little banner under the Twitch channel that you can check them out. But it's quite a close-knit set of odds as well. Neither really for or against NORDAVIND, slightly leaning more so their direction, but sort of gotten a bit more respect.
That's a big nade. HS being tagged down early on. He doesn't have the armor either, so more damage to be done. He's just lucky he wasn't a few steps further ahead, otherwise could have been down to 10 HP. I don't think it's possible to kill someone with an aerial nade, though, with 1 nade. I think you have to have it right on the feet. But Sodoto is definitely very, very capable of killing people. Unfortunately, he's also capable of dying to the Molotov. Just gets 2 kills, though, and that should be what saves them this round. The bomb will be planted, so the T's at least guarantee themselves a loss bonus. But Harry now repositions all the way over towards the Banana Cubby. HS taking the duel from New Box. They can't flush him out, but he's re-peeking, and that's a mistake. Harry now has to battle it out. He gets 2 dinks in that round, but unfortunately, it's a curse of a Glock, and it is the 9th round for Saw.
Yeah, crucial shots. Again, from Justin Muterus, it seems to be. This dynamic duo who sealed out the half, now getting the pistol for them as well. If those 2 kills don't come in, like you correctly said, the round is far more contested. A bit of a crazy moment moving through that smoke from Just, but he performs where needed, and well, the buys will come through from both teams. Of course, the plant coming through from NORDAVIND means that they can afford up a buy. Of course, there are SMGs in the mix. The Galil has to be picked as well.
Yeah, just Muterus, I think you could just put that on a banner and just to describe who they are. They show up when necessary.
No
Well,
fast plays from either side, given the weaponry, sorry, that either of them have.
I want to see Sol get a bit more aggressive, to be honest. When you don't have this much utility, just play for information, know where you need to deposit that utility. Otherwise, you could see these Tech 9s run over you. You know, they've got full utility on the T side, almost. No Molotovs, yes, but pretty good for what they've got. But now, looks like it might just be a little bit of extra pressure in apartments. Saw are thinking it's a hoax, though. They put 3 players in the B bomb site, but now that they've reclaimed the top of Banana, they suddenly realize, oh shit, we need to go back. And there they go. They're back on the site. It's a 4v5 on the site itself. So Saw should be coming out on top, short of NORDAVIND hitting some crazy shots. 38 seconds on the clock. They're going to be going in soon. Double nades coming in. They're not going to be taking another pit player, and Muterus' position is perfect. He will be able to get 3 kills right there. Arky steps up as well, but their only casualty is Roman, and Muterus saving the day as always. That could have been deadly, as a player going over towards the pit was almost got off. Arky could have been brought down over there if not for Muterus.
Yeah, fully flashed up. It was a perfect ball flash to deal with Arky, but just didn't account for that presence from the site. A round in which it seemed like there was going to be a bit of a callback moment to where Saw on their T side sort of bled the CTs dry of their utility. There was only one flash really when they converged on the site, but still able to get it done this time. I mean, again, another multi-kill from Muterus, who has been hogging the limelight, it seems, from the Saw camp, but he's gotten into double digits and secures them an anti-eco. Well, there doesn't seem to be any sort of long-scale plan from NORDAVIND, just making sure that they don't get rushed down. We saw some aggressive peeks from a couple of the Saw players, but nothing really further from that.
Muterus and Just, man, those 2 players have very much saved Saw at this point. NORDAVIND with a single flashbang. They can go for a bomb plan. It's always possible to overwhelm 2 players on the B bomb site. Nade won't do much damage either. Just, however, is good for those kills. Comes in with 3, pulls out the USP as well to find the 4th. So, like I said before, a very important round to not lose 2 guns over there, not lose the bomb plot, which means that T-side economy, although they will have a full buy, it's a little bit more unstable in future rounds comparatively, so always good to see.
Yeah, some really confident and strong aim as well on display again from Just. He continues to really perform. Absolutely right there with you. There is a banner somewhere with those 2 names on it.
Unfortunately, right now, though, NATO, Safix, and Tensky, if there's a banner with their names on it, it's probably not a very nice one. They're not having a great game. NATO on the CD side, his op couldn't really get active. He was constantly being flashed off on Banana. And over here, it's not the same performance that we kind of hoped from him. Now that we are on the gun round, maybe we can see some differences. But 8-9 from NATO and 6-11 from Tensky are not scorelines that you're going to be happy with if you're a fan of NORDAVIND. There are certain players on Saw as well, Arky and Roman in particular, who aren't really performing at all. But
yeah,
you know, they have good old Muterus, they have good old Just to make up for it. Unfortunately, although HS has had some crazy rounds, Roman as well, it's not the same.
Lest we forget that most of the praises we gave to NATO Safix yesterday were for his T-side, so maybe is that caveat. Maybe he is a better T-sided player. Maybe not on the ult.
And that's why he has the AK.
Slow approach towards Banana. The top Banana molly Does at least secure them some position. Harry leading the way in that regard. The nade damage to him doesn't cost him the fight at all. In fact, Croman stealing out from under his nose, just pushing further and further forward by himself. He takes both players down, drops the bomb, and spots it at least to allow these rotations in. While HS throws all these distractionary mollies, there's presence being made over towards the site. Roman's under a lot of fire, and NATO finds the frag. They can reposition, get this bomb over to the site as they go in to clear it. And Arky, while he'll be here in time to spot some sight lines in, cannot actually contest them from getting this bomb planted.
Welcome back, NATO Suffix, as he's able to find the entry kill onto the A bomb site. That was incredibly necessary. Tensky as well with a brilliant angle to take down Saul. He's going to re-peek out. That was probably a little bit much to ask for. It gives Saul the chance to go for this 2v2, but they could also just turn around and save. HS flushed out by that Molotov. Smoke comes in as well. He can no longer support his teammate. NATO, however, is good for 2 more. You said it, man. NATO Suffolk Seaside Rifler. Let's bring it. Let's get it.
And the CT side's not for him, it seems. He's just far more comfortable in sort of this trading game and just finding the entries. You're saying you could do it all yesterday. Maybe we get to see that awaken again. Yeah, because he came up big in the clutch.
Jensky getting a bit over aggressive there did make me very worried.
Yes. Absolutely. Especially when you've got a couple of the players. Just was still alive in that one where he's... Can't give that man too much space, it seems. While the boost from Sododo will swing in a miss over at B. They at least know that that AWP is positioned over to that site for the NORDAVIND side. So some information to play off of. They know what kind of a buy is coming in from the CT side, and so they don't really fancy their chances. They'll let Sododo have that AWP and rattle off shots. Set their sights on A instead.
Uterus is in a great little off angle, but he's no longer feeling confident now that everyone's coming over. The Molotov will flush out the shelter players as well. 3 players on the A bomb side have been forced back, and look at this, but the bomb is now headed towards B, and the over rotation from Sododo could come back to bite them. There is just on this bomb site. He can still make magic happen, but no nades. No Molotovs, just a smoke and a flashbang to keep them at bay. And now they're just going to run through it. The flashbang goes out. They're not going to be affected. The MAC-10 was turned around, and Harry can get the kill as a result of that. Sododo, the AWP, has been smoked off. He won't find that kill on the first oranges that they needed to go for this, and you can see them calling for the save. Money just isn't there on Saw to risk something like this.
So we saw Saul with their own counter of NATO Suffix on his AWP. They're constantly flashing him off angles. This time they're just making Sododo run around the map. They see that he's over towards B. They're like, okay, let's go over towards A. And Sododo bites on that fully, rotates over. By the time he knows it, the B bomb site is cracked open. So both teams doing a pretty suitable job of bypassing these AWPs.
Yeah. Absolutely.
All it took was that one entry.
Yeah.
It was too tall in order for just to deliver. Now within touching distance, I mean, a couple rounds separating. So, of course, saving the majority of their weapons over means that, of course, they can come into this with weapons. And where do you position Just? I mean, he's got the MP9. Do we get aggressive?
I'm honestly a little bit surprised in the previous round very quickly that Sododo wasn't the one who stayed, because the AWP has actual stopping power. The M4A4 is great, but you need a nade, you need a Molotov with it. You need something with it that's offensive utility. Unfortunately, he just didn't have that, so the MAC-10 just overwhelms him completely at the end of the day. Tensky now, though, looking to get aggressive early on. He will have 2 players positioned right in front of him, and NATO Suffix is unfortunately not able to get the return fire either. So Saw getting control over apartments early on without giving up banana. Very, very good display of early aggression. And Just, well, that MP9 can't be replaced yet, but it might be soon enough put into use from that boosted spot.
We might see a flying player down with the SMG.
No.
The smoke kill from Sododo just from up high, jumping down, doing damage as they attempt to cross. And Muterus has barreled through the smoke, not giving them an inch on the bomb site, and they track him down. The weapons upgraded from Saw. They didn't have the best weapons coming into it, but they're more than happy to take those rifles off their bodies. Sododo hitting the shots he needs to as they made their way in.
Unfortunately, man, multiple. So the biggest issue that you saw over there was that they came out before the smoke bloomed. So although it's always possible to get the quick left click as an Opera as to Dodo, regardless, because you're just guessing that they flashed me, they should be peeking out right now, I'll just pull my trigger. That wasn't even bad. They revealed themselves to him before the flash popped, before the smoke bloomed. And as a result of that, Stododo knows there's 3 players coming out. My left click is getting a kill 100%. There's just no way it doesn't.
Yeah.
So 9-12, Nordavind, a very, very awkward round for them over there. And that could be what Saw needs to get back into it, because Saw now, they even have a decent amount of money.
Yeah, of course, Nordavind in the same kind of a boat, just because they found a clean enough round in one of the rounds prior, just finding a kill over towards B, keeping 5 rifles up, so they have that buffer. And it does seem to give a bit of a tech pause. Usually when it's a tactical, we'll see which side has called it. But either way, there's a strong buy coming in from both teams and a buffer for both, it seems. And I want to see a little bit more activation,
I don't think there's a buffer for the T side after they buy, though.
There'll be about like 1,000 to... Yeah, only a couple players. Yeah, true.
So this is a very important round for them at this point. Tech balls coming in, unfortunately. Nordavind, I think they might be having a few issues. Not 100% sure which side it is, but hopefully we will be okay soon enough. And hopefully we can resume in just a bit. In the meanwhile, though, Nordavind so far have no real formula to where they've been finding success for me. What do you think needs to come out, though?
So this is one of the caveats that we had from yesterday's performance, right? Because it didn't seem like there was too much of a strategic element that they had to rely on. It was just someone find an entry, we found an entry, take the site. And, you know, you go from that sort of decision tree, and if you don't find that entry, what is the plan B? Is there a system in place? Are the contingencies there that you understand, okay, they've taken this map control away, we should react like this, and I need these players to help support in that? It can always be those split decisions where players aren't hitting the shots that they were on another day, or even in scrims, that you need to have those plans in order. And I do agree, there's a lack of consistency in that there is no overarching game plan, it seems, for any given round. It's very reactionary as opposed to strategic.
And I also have to quickly point out that Nordavind, the way they've been going for banana control, is very interesting, where they don't get top banana control. They generally back off after having gotten just the lane side of banana, and not the cart side and the sandbag side. So sometimes Saw just backs off on their own, but when Saw contests that, it's very rare that we're seeing them being forced off properly, which is a little bit awkward and a little bit difficult to deal with. Then Arky comes in, Roman with the nade earlier on, did do a lot of damage already, so Arky just brings out Nado Suffix and Saw, again, early advantage. Very good aggression on this CT side.
Arky going for another as well. Over towards Boiler, he'll spot one player out. Smoke deployed to prevent any sort of double swing potential. While they're grouping themselves up on the Nordavind side to burst and attempt to overwhelm Arky. They've chosen the weaker site. There's only 2 players here from Saw. The lane is covered by that pit player as well, and the apartments is under lock and key. But for now, Nordavind are not over-accelerating. Could have taken advantage of a weakened site, but of course they don't have that sort of information. Now they look to contest this player. The Arches and Croman's found the entry needed.
Muterus, unfortunately, I think that was a right eye problem, because I'm not sure. I think so. Croman just had the advantageous peek because he's peeking from the right eye. So there is that, but gets taken down immediately by a quick headshot. 30 seconds on the clock, though, and the CTs are not rotating these players over. They're very worried about a double victory too. And Arky, well, he takes down the bomb, but he can't get more than 2 potentially. As I say that, though, Harry could be his next casualty, but Tensky keeps him alive long enough. Harry doesn't have much HP, so he has to be careful. That bomb will not be planted. Tensky, however, gets the immediate headshot somehow and has the time to plant it down. This round could not be more chaotic, but you've got the one player you want on the side of Saul. If you're a fan of theirs, just coming in. He's been a stud. Can he do this? Yes, he can. He had the AK. He had the immediate headshot. And somehow, Saw are able to keep themselves alive off the back of Arky getting 2 kills in a position where he's just not checked. He could have even had 3. But Harry fortunately had Tensky to back him up.
Yeah, that is a great play from Arky. Just staying alive on the site, finding the kills he needs to as well. I admire the desperation play as well. As soon as the bomb is about to get planted, that Molotov comes in, he sort of chucks it over to Tensky just so he has a chance in the round. But this is the play that changed it for Saul. After losing that pit presence, Arky just does so much in buying time and causing so many issues for NORDAVIND.
Very sloppy spray from Croman. I did not think Arky would get that, but unfortunately for Croman, as good as his first entry was, he just can't get the spray down properly. And that'll come back to bite them. Like we said before, money wasn't great on the D side. So now the Force Buy is here to compensate for the fact that Croman and Tensky had enough of a buffer to pull out the AKs. But can they pull out the kills?
So far, strategically sort of looked a lot more competent. Even on these CT sides, having these setups, these small plays like we saw in the previous round where they threw that nade to allow that opening frag. They're doing a pretty good job in slowing any sort of progression that NORDAVIND are hoping to build up. Banana, like you said, this time around is taken by NORDAVIND. In spite of the openings that are available to that Soul camp, they're fancying their chances, and with Sidodo tag down low, this pressure could begin to mount. There's another player rotating in. It's Muterus that's hoping to support, but still caught between 2 mines. There's no real commitment from NORDAVIND as of yet, but now these balls will signal that it is.
And now Harry going in, trying to get the tech down kills, but just is going to fall to the Molotov. So does Sidodo. Tensky getting good damage on the Muterus, who's now revealed himself. He ran in through the construction. The question is, did they hear him? He sprays down NATO through the coffins, but after the bomb's already planted, HS getting aggressive with the AWP, takes him down, switches out for the AK. He's ready for this retake. That nade is big. Roman tagged down to 46, and he'll be so much more scared than he needed to. Now HS, great position from him, takes down Roman. Arky should be spotted out soon enough, and yes, he is. Tensky catches him with his head turned, and NORDAVIND, is that the miracle round for them where they use the Tech 9s, where they use well-placed Molotovs to take down Saul, because Saul no longer has money, Yumi.
And they had a couple of those Hail Marys on Dust 2 as well, so their conversion rate, it seems, is quite high on these pistols.
Think it's 3 out of 5 so far.
Yeah, that, I mean, that does weigh on the series. So are in getting in these good positions sometimes where they have the economic advantage or the weaponry advantage, and suddenly a curveball comes out, whether it's HS running down middle on their CT side or losing to pistols. They're finding these strange exploitable positions that Saul aren't covering.
Harry, Molotov goes in deep. It'll isolate away Sidodo, but that's a USB. We are hoping you can get that kill yourself as well. Of course, hope is a fickle thing. As you can sometimes be overwhelmed by USBs. Saw is living proof of that, unfortunately. So they're hoping they can get some of that magic out for themselves. Harry dodges a flashbang, gets 1 quick kill. Muterus, however, good with the quick little headshots. Will tag down 1 more as well. Muterus picks up the AK-47 as he will be coming in from behind, just with the deagle, getting ready to peek out. Is there a flashbang to assist him? No, there isn't, but he'll be able to swing up from behind. Gets 1, gets 2, and that could be it. Muterus still with the AK-47, still alive. 2v2, very doable. It will be the death of Roman, but even he can get away before that comes in. Tensky has got barely any HP, and he's the one holding the bomb, and he's the one alone in a 1v2. Has to spray down through the smoke, trying to use the pillar to his advantage, but even that is almost impossible. He's trying to hide away. Will not get the bomb plant either. NORDAVIND somehow lose the full USBs. And an eagle, of course.
It is about time Seoul got a round where things go their way for once. When the odds are stacked up against them, now they perform, and it is the same players. Of course it is. Justin Muterus have been heroes on Inferno. Seoul are making sure that this does go the full best of 3 series. They're trying their hardest to make it as difficult as possible for NORDAVIND. And they are oh so close. Only a couple rifles from this T side. Arky looking to get aggressive in the apartments again, but NORDAVIND are picking up the pace towards Banana. Just has been oh so sharp. First kill in. He's not quite ready for the second. Above the orange, is NATO able to trade him out? There's an equal affair, but so much damage done to the CT side. Sododo even finding one as the bomb gets planted.
This seems like an unwinnable situation, but we've seen those before, and they've not always panned out over here. Sododo cannot afford to miss a shot. He does have Muterus, but Muterus is down. Croman is almost able to get a second. HS, however, good for the trade, and Arky brings out one more through the smoke. Tensky with the deagle peeks out, and Sododo will get the kill. A 1v1, which looked very, very scary, but Tensky misplays that. Makes the mistake of peeking out when the bomb was planted for him, and Sododo can just punish that. Even so, NORDAVIND looked like they should have won that if Tensky had just backed off.
Great job from Sododo to close it out, though. I didn't think we were going to a map 3. Given how things were looking on Dust 2, could have been an open and shut case, but Seoul are not down and out. They want to make that same bounce back performance that we saw yesterday. And they have a great opportunity to seal it in. There's another scrappy buy from NORDAVIND. The rifles out from Seoul, the utility, the AWP. Got all the possible nooks and crannies, all the goodies that they could want. It's about dialing it at home.
So going for a very standard 3-2 split for what could be the last round of the game for them. They want to play this comfortable. They don't want to over-rotate. They know that their money is in a position where NORDAVIND can still very much bring it back. So this is the round where they have to seal the deal. They'll get more chances, don't get me wrong, but none that are as good as this.
Yeah.
Arky. Getting ready for the inevitable push. Muterus gets some good damage and information, but that damage is traded very heavily. He's down to 4 points of HP. The double dink from the Mac 10, if I'm not wrong, bringing him that low. And Croman, he's been great at entering in through arches. It seems like the B split is in the cards for them. Harry's been smoked off though, and he's the one with the Mac 10 who's playing over from Banana. He does have Tensky coming in to lend support. Sododo with the AWP is huge, so finds 2 kills. Bomb has been dropped twice, and Just is the one to give him the backup he needs. Pulls out a nade, and that's a mistake, but I don't think it's one that they'll be punished for. Sododo takes down the bomb yet again. Brilliant stuff from him these past 2 rounds, and Tensky, he's left alone. This is not a doable round. And unfortunately, he finds that out the hard way. 16-10, NORDAVIND are not able to close out their own map pick. Saw doing to NORDAVIND almost the exact same thing that was done to them.
Yeah, just a 1-round discrepancy, it seems to be. And, well, we end up on Vertigo. I'm so happy to see that towards the end of that, Sododo begins to awaken. He's been in his slumber. We saw some missed shots on Dust 2 that were very concerning, some that should have been sitters, but towards the end, hitting those exact same shots that he might have otherwise missed and contributing to what was a push forward from Seoul at the end there. A 1-to-1 series. I don't know, do we even start to talk about map 3? Because I feel like there's still a lot that Inferno kind of offered and showed us that NORDAVIND are not impenetrable. They didn't keep that same pace that we saw in the first map.
Well, look, NORDAVIND, they did not have their players showing up at all. And you could see the difference over there. While Saw, you can argue that a lot of their players were having very quiet games. Roman, Arky, nowhere near the menaces that we saw them. Sododo, up until the last 2 rounds, he wasn't having a good performance either. He did carry them through the very end, though, which is what matters, because now going into the 3rd map, hopefully he'll have some win under his sails. But what a performance from Just and Muterus. The two players I highlighted before as well. They just go absolutely crazy.
Yeah.
27-15, 24-12. That's insanity right there.
Yeah, it didn't seem like there was much. I mean, there's always these moments, right, where you think, who's going to be that man to come to the table? We talked about Archie and Roman yesterday. This time, Justin Muterus are the ones that steal the show, and I'm excited. People are taking their turns, it seems, on this Soul Camp. Maybe we see Archie and Roman again, or maybe everything's thrown up into the air. No player is consistent or keeping that sort of momentum flowing between these maps, because now we move on to Vertigo, where 16-3 yesterday from Seoul. I don't think anybody can argue that that's a worrying result coming into a decider map.
Well, I'll stop you there. As we come back with Vertigo in a couple of minutes, we'll have plenty of time to talk about that after a short break. Welcome back, though. This is, of course, if you're just tuning in, a Malta Vibes brought to you by our partners, Gaming Malta, a home of gaming excellence. Yumi, the first two maps going literally the opposite way as what was expected according to the map veto. I talked about it before. I thought that Seoul needed to win 2-0. I didn't think they had a chance of winning 2-1, but at the same time, I also was 100% certain that they would win Dust too. So, are we about to see expectations flipped over here?
I think that's very much a possibility. We kind of talked when we saw NORDAVIND in a position where they were going up with Vertigo yesterday. We kind of talked about how they had good wins against kind of respected teams on the map, and so there's sort of confidence picks going into it. Seoul have had similar results. They I think had a surprising win against Movistar Riders. That's not anything to scoff at. They're top 33. I think they're ranked 33 on HLTV at the moment. Good result. But given that the data that we have that's recent is so concerning, I still think that there is a bit of a cause for concern, but it's not anything that can be chalked up as anything in particular. Because if we call back to how NORDAVIND won, it was again these same sort of star players that we've been seeing in this best of 3 series already kind of prop up. We had Croman, we had HS just doing crazy things. And it seems that the longer this has gone on, sort of kind of cluing into these antics that the players like to use, even if HS can somehow get away with pushing down middle 3 times in a row.
Well, listen, I agree with you entirely. I think one thing that we perhaps glossed over a bit is how weak NORDAVIND was yesterday on Vertigo. A lot of the reasons why they were winning was because Shiro was non-existent for the regulation. For the first overtime, Shiro really started to come in alive after the first half of the first overtime. So, you know, when your biggest star player on Gambit Youngsters is not coming into play for an entire map, essentially, yeah, you're probably going to have an easier time actually keeping things going. But at the same time, it's still very different circumstance to the 16-3 we saw against Attacks. Now, because I was muted earlier on, I'm going to do the introduction again, which is that if you're just tuning in, this is Malta Vibes. We've got ourselves the semi-finals. It's the first one of the day to see who can go into the finals. It's between Saw and NORDAVIND, both of them taking a map apiece. And if you've never tuned into Malta Vibes before, then first of all, you're doing something wrong with your life. And secondly, it's brought to you by Gaming Malta, which is a home of gaming excellence. And of course, as again, I am reintroducing the entire tournament. Remember, the winner of this series will go on to the final. And the winner of the final don't just get $25,000. They get a week of boot camping in Malta. Beautiful weather, beautiful places, everything in a 5-star hotel. So that's obviously a pretty big deal for a lot of these teams to be playing for, especially but when you consider these aren't the Astraluses of the world who are probably jetting around all over the place regardless. It's probably a really big deal to be able to do something like this, and knowing the lengths to which Malta Vibes and Gaming Malta and everyone is going to facilitate and promote slightly lower rungs of Counter-Strike. It's always good to see them putting in something like this, putting in something like a bootcamp clause and whatnot.
Yeah, like a holiday away in your favorite game to play. It sounds like a perfect sort of duality for me, to be honest.
Hey, they're going to be practicing all the time.
Yes, absolutely. 17 hours in the day.
Maybe that practice is what they need for, some more prowess on Vertigo, because back to that, as we don't really have much faith in either of these teams, to be perfectly honest, to beat teams that are regularly picking Vertigo as their first pick.
Yeah.
So this is more of a battle to see who comes in with more stars than anything else, in my opinion. We saw the previous map, Inferno. Just and Muterus were the only reason why it seemed like they were able to really crawl through and finish things out. It looked a lot cleaner on the score than it did on the server. There were a lot of 1v1s. There was a lot of individual plays. Arky had a few moments as well later on. I want to credit him for a particular A-site hold as well, where he got a 2K where it probably shouldn't have happened. And overall, it was very much round after round that's coming down to the wire. So who do you think needs to show up on the side of, Native Sapphics and company, on the side of NORDAVIND? What needs to change? Because Inferno was just a failure of pretty much almost everyone going into the second half to come up individually.
Yeah, we're kind of saying that Tensky's kind of been absent for the NORDAVIND side. He's kind of lagged behind, and sure, there's other responsibilities that he sort of obtains and has a sort of more, I imagine, a more commanding voice in the team given the experience and veteran levels tenure that he has. But if players are coming online on the Saw camp, we saw Tsunoda sort of awaken towards the end of Inferno with Justin, Muteris being such a big performance, and we know that Roman and Arky can have their moments as well. If all these 4 to 5 players can step into this limelight, especially when they end up in moments where they need these clutch performances, they need to. It's crunch time. The finals are on the line,
Yes,
and that's exactly how they seem to power through to get to the semifinals in the first place. So it needs to be that once more. And if NORDAVIND don't have all the same pieces activating, then, like you said, there's lines for both sides. It doesn't seem that they'll be able to pull it through, but who knows?
Well, we're into the night round. We're into finding out who gets to start off the final map of the first semifinals to see exactly how they want to start things off on either side. I am curious about what you think, actually. Do you think that either one of these teams has a particular preference? Because obviously yesterday, I feel like you can't really judge that from either team simply because Saw got demolished 16-3 and NORDAVIND, I mean, they went to 48 rounds. And we've got our odds right here and now. And for the first time in this entire series, I would say, the odds have swung the way of Saw.
Other way around. They're slightly in favor of NORDAVIND, but it's very, very close.
Oh god, again, sorry, my bad. I just see the bigger number from LootBet. I'm thinking, yeah, LootBet likes them more. Yeah, that looks 2 is more than 1.
Yeah.
So, but okay, you know what? Never mind. NORDAVIND still favored, but we saw how that turned out for Inferno.
Well, the boost up here from NORDAVIND just may get caught out by this. Oh, they're actually double boosting as well. How quickly can he prepare for not 1, but 2 players to pop on out? Because it seems like this was very much a B-centric play from the NORDAVIND side, just holding firm, waiting for the peaky spots out just ahead. And oh, he ducks underneath. They're not quite prepared, but NATO just in time. Arky pushing forward to try and get some capacity of control of this site, and he's not done yet. They heard the rotations away, and although they get nothing from it, they're going to be able to make their way back over to the other side. Meanwhile, HS lurks in the back lines.
Excellent shot from HS. He'll keep them at bay as well. While the A site is monopolized, they can't give up B because of HS's position. Finally, he goes down, and Roman is still fighting, but Roman's not fighting with much to work with, as will be the kill. NATO Sophics takes him down. Arky and Muteris left in a 2v4. Neither of them having Kevlar, but it won't matter. The headshots are what's taking them down. The first round comes up for NORDAVIND. A clowny situation to start things off with, just trying to, you know, crouch underneath, saying, I'm not here, you can't see me, ha ha ha. But ends up going the way of NORDAVIND regardless.
Yeah, that little play that they seem to make over towards B, even though they get the entry, they just slow down significantly because I imagine they're expecting that rotation to come out from Salt. Even still, a 1 round is a 1 round. The back and forth nature of it, be damned. Arky, scout in hand, very, very capable with this weapon. HS creeping close to the smoke. He's been a bit of a criminal around these in many of the maps. Charging on through it, even with this SMG in play. He hasn't quite cleared out this sandbag's position for now. Tsunoda remains unchecked, and this presents an opportunity.
Tsunoda misses the shot though!
Oh no.
No! I think we figured out why Tsunoda showed up in the beginning of this map. Unfortunately, that can't be good for your confidence, and that's so heartbreaking as well. He plays it perfectly, he's got the trigger discipline, he's waiting it out, and then he just misses the shots.
Yeah, that is honestly heartbreaking for anybody. The first time that I ever tried trigger discipline, same thing happened. But for a round that could have been swung so dramatically,
yes,
that is gut-wrenching.
That could have been 2 kills right there, including the bomber. And that makes it completely different. It doesn't matter what kind of weaponry you have. If you're on 4 versus 3, assuming he goes down afterwards, HS finds 2 very early kills with the Mac 10. But if you're in a 4v3 with the bomb down, anything is possible on a map like Vertigo. HS, he's hungry. He's got some blood on his lips and he wants some more. As he comes in, 3 kills. Muteris left alone versus all 5 players, and Mac 10 comes around the corner. That's Chroman to finish him off. Every single kill, save for 1 in that round, came off the back of an SMG. And now you also get to see Muris being punished slightly for buying a deagle and not getting a kill. He gets head armor, knowing that there will be Mac 10s on the other side, but that also means it's only a smoke and a flash on him and Arky.
And we'll see if the rifles are able to deal with these SMGs that the other side have, because like you said, that head armor will prove a bit of a difficulty for them, I imagine. But of course, not losing too many players thus far on the NORDAVIND side means that they are more than comfortable with a bonus round. The coffers are looking mighty good for NORDAVIND. So Seoul needs to get a couple in a row to break the bank.
Muris ready with the M4. But oh, that's such a good Molotov as well coming in. It means that Sodoro needs to land a lot of shots through the spray, but he can't. The Molly forces anyone who wants to rotate back away. Muris is late, but he gets the important kill. That's a bomb being dropped. NATO suffix to go down. 3 versus 4, and Just is in a great position to prevent this bomb from being planted. He does go down, but it allows Muris enough time to eliminate Tensky. 2v3, Roman's gonna know where this player is, and he takes down the last one. 3 players kept alive. Really nice little adjustment coming in over there, where Just was getting very aggressive over towards stairs and is able to support his team from there.
Yeah, largely contributions from many of the Seoul players. And of course, sort of highlighted it earlier, it's a bonus round for NORDAVIND. They had SMGs, so the weaponry never really favored them going into this. They were just hoping to change those weapons. Had they won the round, they can upgrade to the M4s. It's a cost-effective way to play, and now they have rifles to fight back, see if they can deal with the Seoul bounce back as they got their hands on their own rifles.
Plus, at the same time, you have to keep in mind, you know, Seoul don't let they don't stop the bomb from being planted, so that's quite a bit of money still coming in, even if it loots around. So it's reasonable. Also, lowers the CT side loss bonus a little bit, which can be a factor. You're not gonna have the op for a while if you lose this one. Roman, however, takes on NATO, and he's not traded away. HS trying to go through the smoke to find them in the chaos, but he can't quite get the kill. Harry now has a lot of heavy lifting to get done. Unfortunately, though, a lot of the utility they had on those players is not going to be used either. Their 1-for-1 trade is not good enough. And though the bomb is retrieved, there's very little to do here. Chroman, however, great flick onto Sodoro, and that could be the makings of doom.
And it starts to scare you slightly. A couple of kills found, and they're very aware of how these Seoul players are positioned, falling back, playing instead for the retake. They have the Molotov to deny a plant or slow things down. Or being the exact reaction. Tensky sticking it through the flames, does actually get it planted, but loses his life to the utility. It has to be Chroman to ace clutch this one for NORDAVIND, but it's looking closer and closer like a Seoul round. Chroman, steps made. He's going to try and get the diffuser. There it is, the kill just before the smoke blooms. Desperately through the smoke. He can't quite find it, but the bomb's being diffused under his nose. He has no idea, or he can do little to stop it. And saw take that one away. A couple players staying alive.
Unfortunately, I just can't find the player. I'm not sure if the bomb was planted at the perfect position, though. That's what I'd really like to be able to figure out. Do you think it's... Yeah, default's supposed to be a bit more to the right. That's why he's spraying over there. Also, maybe he realizes that, but it just makes it so much more difficult to take a player down when there's multiple angles that he can defuse it from. 3 for 2. NORDAVIND still healthy buy-in, quite a bit of money behind it. Even so, Seoul loses quite a few players, so they know they're not in the green yet, but they would like to be. If they win this one, things get a lot more easy for the CT side. So far, NORDAVIND has not been prioritizing alley control. They've largely just been hoping to get quick duels over towards ramp, but this time, maybe things will change. No early losses on that terrorist side. And they're getting very aggressive, showing a lot of positions, but no heavy rotation being saw. We're still worried about the rotation coming in later on. The one-way smoke is there to assist And that means NORDAVIND can't go up the ramp too easily just by yet.
And that wall was reinforced with metal to prevent spamming, yet it seems to be a spam fiesta from both teams. Just trying to get some early chip damage if possible. Just show some presence. Oh no, Roman roasted alive.
That's because of the flashbang from HS. It completely blinds him up, so he wasn't aware that it was burning. Very nicely done. 35 seconds on the clock as well, and the advantage that has been gained. And they look to be going back, perhaps. Tensky is still alive, or he can still be a menace, and the B side could be their destination. But with 25 seconds on the clock, Yumi, just is just getting aggressive. He's playing this perfectly. HS finds Sedoto and takes him down. He's looking for more, but he can't find it. Muris is going to be hoping that his teammate can step up, and indeed he does. 2 kills for him, and the third just always delivering in those incredibly high pressure situations. Just and Muris again cleaning up that round just with a flashy 3K, but Muris with the equally important kill onto HS to prevent that flank from coming in.
Oh, these kills are so important. The first, easy enough. The second, as he lines up. And that's the confidence peak. The sealer for the round. And we criticized NORDAVIND for being very stagnant when they played on Vertigo. They slowed things down almost always when they went towards A, sort of sat towards that position and didn't even consider going back to towards the other sides. This time around they do, but they don't clear a crucial corner.
Unfortunate, but just played it perfectly. You have to be in an off angle in that situation. You have to be ready to get multiple spray downs, and that's exactly what he does. It's also the perfect position when you consider that he was against 3 players. Because it's not just a one and done anymore. Now it's a 1 kill and 1 duel position. So recognizing that fact, otherwise he was considering going over towards the bookshelves earlier on, but he decided against it. He decided against trying to push stairs as well. So good stuff from him. Excellent micro decision making. Muris pulls out the Molotov, chucks it down. It's HS3 forced off as a result of that, but at the same time Muris is trying to be very careful about anyone trying to rush through, maybe get the bomb plant down. He's got the nade in his hand for that very reason, and now he's retaken this boosted spot. Muris knows there's players on either side, but Arky will take the kill away, and Harry's trying to get the bomb down. No grenades to stop it. 4v4. Nato Sopix is down. Arky pushed through the smoke. Tensky, however, will try and respond in the best of his ability. Tensky finding Arky with a grenade in his hand. 2v2. And Croman, he's trying to respond, but they know he's coming. Tensky almost stole the round away, but once again, it's just to save the day. Arky with 3 kills. Very impressive stuff pushing through that smoke, but man, Just is having a game.
So we talked a little bit about, you know, maybe the elements missing from NORDAVIND, maybe the elements missing from Seoul. It seems like everybody so far is contributing on both sides of the coin. It's not an if or what if for one team or the other. It's crunch time, and everybody's having a role in these rounds. Seoul narrowly edging now into a lead. It came down to a 1v1 at the end, but some great kills from Just, who seems to be a name that we will continually highlight as he delivers them.
Ooh. Early duels from the CT side. Roman needs to be careful that he's not just caught off. Sedoto as well. He's being chased there, speeding things up. Roman pulls out the smoke, but that'll be his death. NATO will fall, but Roman to trade. Arky's still alive, but not for long. Just, we've said we'll highlight his name to the ends of time, but the end of his time might be nigh. 1 versus 3. Things are tough.
Well, the smokes are down, the flash as well. Here's the plant. Gets Tensky with a flashbang out, hoping to buy a bit more time. The Molotov as well just can potentially reposition, even consider it, but it doesn't really change his angle of attack too considerably. They're hoping to get this crossfire underway. Croman, the angle up close. HS as well. The flash may just isolate one of these duels. He actually pushes on through, and well, HS able to catch him with his back turned. Not a flash. Seemed to be a decoy.
Oh, well. Listen, you're not going to be getting any decoys from Hellcase, who are our case partners. And they're the biggest and most known case opening website with almost 100 cases, updated case battle upgrader, dozens of giveaways per month, and more absolutely unique features. You won't get bored with Hellcase. Use the promo codes that we have to save more and grab what you deserve. 4-4, timeout coming up from Saw. They need it, considering they've been winning a few rounds in a row, but not in a way where economy is preserved. So now, do they force buy? How do they go about it? They've got no loss bonus. These next few rounds are going to be a nightmare for them.
I am growing more and more concerned the further we get through. HS seems to love going through smokes, and it's cost him in a few of the opening exchanges where Saw are a little bit more prepared for, or maybe doesn't hit the initial shot so quickly that a player is able to adjust in time, and it does end up costing NORDAVIND. By and large, he's hit those shots, so it's been pretty infallible. But even still, it does begin to emerge. HS is he's a human being, I think. There has to be a point in which he runs out of gas.
He's a player. That's what he is. He is an absolute player. Unfortunately for him, there's another fine little lad who's an absolute player on the other side. His name is Just, and even there, he played that really nicely. He was able to get past and isolate the 1v2 into 2 1v1s. Unfortunately, just didn't predict where HS would be. Otherwise, you could have seen him getting away with that. NATO. Nice little angle that he has for himself for the Mac 10. I think he spotted Just earlier, but the flashbang is good, and Just skill is great. Harry coming in from the side, more flashes to allow him.
Oh, and they are pushing through fast on the NORDAVIND side. They've got this bomb down, now planted. Salt trapped behind smoke. They don't have the most amount of utility or best weaponry either. HS, another smoke that he's gone right through. Harry trying desperately. Okay, there's interesting affairs going on. It seems like lag happened to strike on a couple of the players. Chrome is aiming at the sky. He's running around, but still it's a NORDAVIND round win. And I imagine, yeah, with that, a technical pause is likely to be called, because that is that's worrying. Hopefully he sorted his internet issues out.
Sorry, I didn't have internet issues. I just got something stuck in my throat.
Oh, I see.
Yes.
Well, there seem to be internet issues on the server at the very least.
Oh, sorry, my bad. I was not able to catch that run. I was busy trying not to die. Which I'm sure Saul was trying as well. Unfortunately, they didn't have all that much success on the server with it. Hopefully, though, now they can try and clean everything up. They're in a bit of a disadvantageous situation, like we mentioned before. It really is just the curse of the CT side.
Mm-hmm.
Like, you can do everything. You can win 4 rounds in a row. You can come back after losing the pistol round, and then suddenly the T's win one round, and you're sitting there scratching your head, wondering, where did all my money go?
Yeah, that CT side economy is a struggle to get a grips of when things are going astray like that. Even the best of starts. The money that was built up by NORDAVIND to start this one off, of course, they've now they had to reset. They've now built up a little bit more cash. They've now got a buffer coming into this. So they've got 3 players that should have a decent amount of money should this be a sole round win, for whatever reason, because it should just be pistols on the other side of the coin. But who knows? We saw a round like it on Inferno. We've seen NORDAVIND win a fair few. So are due.
Well, it's not like there's a tally of USB round wins somewhere in a corner and you are absolutely due one, but they could definitely use it. We've seen some fantastic moments from Just. Maybe he can do something similar. You know, there's a lot of awkwardness, unfortunately. And we're gonna see Harry start things off very nicely. Heavy damage onto all of Saw, and that'll be pretty much all she wrote. Saw, I guess maybe Just can get a single kill, 2, take some guns away, but T-side money is looking to be padded up pretty heavily in this round, and Croman Might just be able to find him over here. Just still creeping forward, still creeping through, will be spotted out. Molotov is ready. Croman will take him down, and all 5 players on the T side kept alive. Bomb is planted. A lot of money taken forward in this round.
I wasn't sure if Croman had another instance where his internet just didn't agree with him, because it seemed like he shot, stopped shooting, maybe to prevent his teammate from dying, but then he just sort of strafed into a corner and, you know, held himself for a moment. Of course, now the buys from Saw. Still yet to see many chances for Sotodo to get this AWP for himself. Maybe that isn't the long-term plan. They're not keeping that in the back of their minds instead, just hoping to take these fights head on. You know, Zafir's doing his best. HS wandering around through smokes.
Well, made a suffix, unfortunately, is not HS, as he does end up going down. Harry will trade on the other side of the map, though.
This is actually a very open bomb site. That one kill draws the rotation in. Now there's 3 players in close proximity for Saw, and the bomb is making its way over, but the rotations are there and available. Croman getting a Hail Mary through the smoke, at least it may incentivize NORDAVIND further, but Tensky hears the rotation away. Just is heard, and so Tensky can potentially flank this one out and cause havoc behind the B, or behind the A bomb site.
Tensky's positioning is fantastic, like you said. 2 quick kills for him, and he's really stepped it up on Vertigo. He was having a terrible game in Inferno. Unfortunately, was practically not present. But right now, he's definitely turning his and his team's fate around. Arky, however, 1v3, probably going to save. His teammates don't have enough money to buy in the next round regardless, but, you know, you can hope that an AK-47 comes into play, get some good stuff done. You know, he's got Kevlar. Maybe he can buy a Deagle and drop it to his teammate. Deagles can definitely come up really big on Vertical.
Yeah.
But right here, he has to save it.
And it seems as though NORDAVIND are going to allow him to do so without giving too much away. Okay, well, Tensky going down. Surely you keep hold of these. I mean, they've built up some money on a few of their players, maybe. Yeah, it is worthwhile to hunt this weapon down because they know the economy is low for Saul. And Arky got the best of the first, not quite the second. A 7th now registered for NORDAVIND, and a save or half buy on the cards for Saul.
Also, one small thing, we're gonna see the replay maybe. Okay, no, there's a Tensky replay. Of course, it is fantastic, few kills, but contrary to popular belief, it is actually valuable for the T side to kill the CTs after the bomb blows up. And the reason for that is because you get $3,500 instead of $3,250. So, you know, just some extra money in the bag as a result of that. So that's always nice to see, even though I don't think it was intentional whatsoever. However, Stododo, early on tagged up, this 5-7 has to come up big. He almost gets the chance, almost connects, but unfortunately is brought down immediately. And with that, NORDAVIND are content with slowing things down. They went through the first smoke. Over here, it's all about Tensky as he finds Muterus, who is hoping that he would be able to fight his way out of that. But Tensky keeps on fighting, keeps on going, finds more and more kills, and with Mado Suffix on his sideline, another round where the terrorist side has been able to save 5 players and keep their money very, very healthy.
Yep, Tensky is making up for lost time on this map. Finding frags. Of course, it's against the ecos, but kills he'll be happy with nonetheless. Especially when we're pulling up fragging statistics. It's always nice to pad those every so often. 3 players tied for 13 on NORDAVIND. And so are looking for an answer back. 5 potentially on the cards. The CT side economy is a struggle to get at grips of, but the T side have more than enough, like you were mentioning. HS once again sitting in this smoke towards the sandbags, hoping to capitalize on the space, and the flash is perfect to allow it. Stododo able to trade things back, but they've lost 2 players for their troubles, and they are continuing to push on forward. NORDAVIND not giving them an inch.
2 versus 4. Arky has to save the day. He's had a few really, really good rounds, but is this going to be one of them? Just is also right around the corner, so you've got both of the clutch machines of the CT side, but unfortunately the clutch machines are going to have to start running. as the B bomb site has been taken control of by Croman. He smoked off the first entrance, mollying out the second. Just is spotted by Harry. And that is a quick casualty. Arky left to try and save yet again. He's got the AK-47, 1v3. NORDAVIND should probably be hunting him down at this point, but either way, the 9th round is basically secured for them. And we're done with the 13th round at this point, as Arky goes down. We haven't seen an AWP a single time on Sudodo.
Or NATO.
The T-side, that's more understandable, though.
Yeah.
On
but,
Vertigo,
I mean,
but
the whole server hasn't seen it. The AWP hasn't seen the light of day.
And the reason why I bring this up is more because a lot of the reason why you're able to get ramp control on CTs is because of how aggressive you can get with an AWPer and how incredibly useful an AWPer can be even in a defensive position. So I'm just very curious to see why not, because Sudodo is definitely proficient with it. Arky goes down early, just is there with a trade, and NATO's also low, so he could get more, and indeed he does. So 3 versus 3, because Croman did equalize on the other side, but this advantage does go their way as both Sudodo and Muris come alive with another kill apiece. Just again with 2 kills, giving them a solid chance at a 5th round. Croman in a 1v2 does have the bomb, 1v3 rather, does have the bomb, and he's definitely going to go for this. They've got money for days, but how can he find it? There's a question. First kill is there. Roman has fallen, 28 HP. Left on Croman. At this point, remember, even if he gets 1 kill, Yumi, the next round becomes incredibly difficult for Saw.
Yeah, it's going to be a round that comes back to bite Saw just because of that economic disadvantage. Absolutely right. But Croman has so much time. There was a minute left on the clock by the time he found that kill to bring it to the 1-on-2. There's so many angles he could have taken instead, so many different repositions that are available, and this separates the Saw players. It's all going to be about timings. There's nobody in this B site for now. The audio cue will eventually be given up to Muteris, the Molotov on through from Croman. As well as dialing that bomb through. Barreling on through, though, using the smoke to dissipate the flames. Croman finds the first isolated duel, falling from heaven. Sudodo left exposed, but they're down to both low HP. The next bullet would have done it, but Croman only had the 1 bullet to operate off of, and Sudodo adjusts in time. A 5th for Saw as NORDAVIND, it's a commendable effort from Croman, but he falls short at the final hurdle.
3 kills for him. But again, we will not see an AWP throughout the first half. You're right, on either team. Unless
that's mad.
NATO's just like, guys, enough. Enough. I want it. But CTs don't have the money for it, so a full half without an AWP being bought for either side. How interesting.
Yeah, curious when they're pretty coveted offers, or at least as far as the discussions go about these teams, so.
You know, a lot of people are telling me that Sudodo is one of the better players in the European circuit to watch out for when he's opping, but maybe he's just not feeling confident right now.
Budgeting aside, Saw hoping to turn this at least into a 6-9 half. Given that their buy is a little scrappier, missed bits of utility certainly not favor, unless they're simply concerned about HS being in that stickly position once more.
Wouldn't be surprised. He's pushed through smokes like 7 rounds at this point or something.
From that exact same spot.
Yes. Yes. Maybe it's just a next level Molotov. HS. Now in the spot where the molly was burning earlier on. Sudodo as well is getting ready to smoke himself off. Needs to be very, very careful though. Because nades, if they follow through, those will be big, and that is one coming in. Harry is the one with the second, unfortunately not quite in position, and he will be overwhelmed as Muteris comes in, peeks him, takes him down. HS with the trade, however, and HS will keep on going. Sudodo smokes don't stop HS, and neither do they stop Muteris as he comes in. MP9 at the ready. HS pulls out the Tech 9, jumps over the smoke now. Just is left in a 1 versus 3, and he's had a few of these so far. Can he pull this one off?
The last round of the half. Has to be big. No kid available. First kill in on Tensky. Oh, begin to get a bit worried if you're NORDAVIND. Do not give this man an inch. You will certainly take a mile. The smoke on through. There's no kit again, so it has to be a long stick defuse. He's baiting out the shots. They're spamming aggressively, but it's a trade. As soon as Just shows his face, Croman's there for it. And a double-digit scoreline established on NORDAVIND's T side.
17 kills for HS and 9 deaths. Insane. And look at how he just doesn't care about these smokes. He even later on jumped over a smoke with the Tech 9. Yeah, look. Oh, God.
Yeah, I don't know what this man is doing. He's having the time of his life. He has so much disregard for that one bit of utility.
Yeah.
It is frightening.
And Densky as well, 16 for 8. We've seen him not pulling off fantastic, oh my God, look at that aim. It's more been, okay, I will find the weird little angle you're never going to expect me from, and I'll somehow take down 2 of your players. Have to say, though, on the other side, it is again Just and Muris on the top.
Yeah.
But this time it's a very different level of impact from Just. It's not just that, hey, both Just and Muris are coming in 12 and 9. No, no, no. Just has single-handedly won them like 3 rounds out of their 5.
Yeah, he's awoken. I've said that a few times. I thought Stododa would have awoken coming into this one. We saw a blunder earlier on. We, again, kind of highlight that he didn't get his hands on the AWP for the whole half, which is maybe telling of sort of reconsidering how things went yesterday as well. But it's hard to tell. But we, of course, have our lovely odds from our partners over at LootBet. Of course, very heavily in favor of NORDAVIND, given the half that they just had.
See, this time I'm not making the mistake. I know that 7 is bad.
But it's concerning. It all has to start from the pistol, right?
Indeed. And let's not forget, T-side, you know, this is where CD side is where NORDAVIND had some struggles as well. So, you know, you could see them bringing it back, but you need that pistol. Croman right-clicks that nade forward, decent damage, but the second one from HS needs to be thrown, and indeed it will be. HS is getting so aggressive, even just a nade. He could just bounce it off the wall, but no, he has to jump up and right-click it.
Well, the 5-on-5 as the smoke wall begins to dissipate. Sor have strong post plants to play off of, but these USPs, the kits available as well, that smoke on towards the bomb. So time is of the essence. They need to be able to deal with this diffuser if it at all possible, but they can't even find the players outside of the smoke, let alone the one that's in it. And Sor, they'll have it diffused from under their nose. They get a couple of kills towards the end. A pretty even affair at that in terms of just the brawling capacity, but with the bomb defused, NORDAVIND win the round.
I would love to see the utility damage, actually. Could we check that out very quickly? The utility damage across the board. This is a quick request to the observer. I'm sure we can see that in the next round. But Saw, fortunately, off the back of the bomb pod, do have themselves 4 rifles. 2 AKs without head armor could be troubling when you consider all the SMGs and the CT-sided weaponry in general on NORDAVIND. But Muris, oh, Muris creeps past. NATO crouched down with the MP9. Very difficult angle to deal with over here. You're not going to be expecting him, and he just jumps out and potentially takes you down. That's where things get tricky. Muris is checking the angle, but not properly. Harry steals that kill away from NATO, but it's Stododa to come in and return fire. He's making sure they've got the bomb plan at the very least. The CTs are getting worried as they're getting back onto this site.
Just as up close and personal, playing at the generators, he's hoping to catch them off guard. They have a singular flash on Roman and Arcade, and they'll flyer both over to allow just the space. Now he's keeping further forward. They adjust in time, though. Roman swings out wide to deal with the issue, but Roman has come in with 2 kills of his own, and that may just be enough as it's brought into the 2-on-2. The kit available for NATO Sapphix is spamming through the smoke, but Roman falls. A quick trade once more. NORDAVIND, they're running out of time. Tensky needs to track this kill down. Arky, just to stay alive, will win it for Saul, and he does exactly that, trying desperately to track the kill down at the end. Tensky will go down to the bomb, and Arky, he's more than happy to witness his opponent fall to his feet in front of him.
And he has an AK-47 to take in the next round too.
Yeah.
Which is always good. Roman, though, what a round from him. 2 fantastic kills. And we talked about how the pistol round needed to be the beginning. I'm okay with that being the beginning. That's also good.
Yeah.
You know, no, none of that newfangled 1 round loss bonus that you have. No. NORDAVIND are down to a 1400. They've semi-bought up over here as well. They know they're on the double eco at least, so they may as well try and get some kills, try and get some guns out. But that was a kill and a half. Muterus going down. What a deagle shot.
And you do wonder if there's been research done by either team as we are into the semifinals, right? As to how they like to default, where players like to play. Muterus, when we saw him yesterday, quite often was by himself clearing those angles. And it was only when teams started to get a bit more aggressive in through middle that they'd call for a bit more reinforcements. Maybe that's NORDAVIND exploiting that exact fact, just the isolated duel of that nature. That deagle can certainly be proficient in those sorts of circumstances. Well, that man advantage, although they don't get their hands on a gun, does put a bit of a strain on Saw.
Croman at this point, because they're not going for the boost, he has to back off. He knows he can't re-peek with the deagle at least. Arky. Very good chance of finding multi-kills, but he tags up Dodo, and NATO takes him down as a result of that. Harry even getting in more tags for HS to finish things off. Oh no.
Oh, no.
I think
the player he shot reacted to him being shot in the side of the head as well, which hurts his ability to get the kill that he needs to get.
That's why NATO was able to get the kill. It was an assist on 2 parts. It was distraction and team damage. And I genuinely think if Arky's alive there, Arky gets the kill on NATO easily. It's a much... Oh no, that trade's just completely different.
That is rough.
You can see the nerves coming in for Saw. They knew that was the moment for them. And remember, NORDAVIND didn't even get armor, but now maybe NORDAVIND are getting too eager. Croman gets aggressive, but he's fallen. Stensky fighting back, has taken away Stododo, but Just is there. He's going for them. Arky, however, the next casualty, and it seems like trades across the maps are happening all over the place. Just with 2 kills, could be another round where he has single-handedly brought his team back into it. NATO Softfix expects 1, but not the second. Just 3 kills for him. Harry's left in a 1v2.
As a belt of utility, a kit as well, the smoke slowly fading, and well, the lack of armor, this could be devastating. That nade will just sail right past them, now tapping the bomb, the smoke on it as well, trying to bait these players out into the open. He knows they've repositioned. They're not quite biting into the fake. Had he stuck it, maybe there was a chance because nobody fired aggressively, but still, Just calls the bluff. He gets 4 kills, and he continues to have this great performance for Saw that is keeping them afloat. A 7th for them, and after NORDAVIND steal around, Saw steal it right back. You can't have that. That's ours.
Just is more than doubling the kill score of any of his teammates. That's how impactful he's been right now. And I'm not taking anything away from his teammates. They've had their own troubles and tribulations, but Just, that's 4 out of 7 rounds. I'm counting. There's 4 out of 7 rounds that he has single-handedly won his team.
Yeah, it's a lot of reliance. It's a lot of reliance as well, though, right?
Yeah.
One small moment where, say in an instance, he's the one that gets entried, who then fills that role. For now, you don't have to worry about that. He is still alive and kicking, and he can cause more havoc for NORDAVIND. Looked like he was going to be presented an opportunity. 3 players sort of tempting the idea of peeking through ramp, but not going to quite follow through.
It's a dangerous opportunity as well when they've all got deagles.
Yeah.
Smoke comes out.
Yeah, it's a rotationary game. It's Smoke's one side, Smoke's the other way. They are very, very sold on the fact that it's going to be something towards B. Look at where NORDAVIND have positioned themselves.
I think they're going with the good old gamble, to be honest. At this point, I mean, you don't have nades, you don't have molotovs to prevent the bomb from being planted either. 30 seconds on the clock. I would have liked to see NORDAVIND save all 5 players. Being fully honest. And they can still do that, and they look like that's exactly what they're doing. Yeah, NORDAVIND going for the 5-man save. I think that's an excellent decision because you're never winning this round, and you might win the next one with these exact same weapons.
They might have maybe been tempted into something like a retake had they got a Molotov, a kit, something that gives them that extra edge. But I 100% agree. The utility, the armor, I mean, importantly, the rifle as well on Tensky. And well,
And
a second one. Okay, not quite what they were looking for, but they'll happily take the extra weapon.
I have plus $300. That could be a nade. I mean, I don't think they'll be buying in because they only have $1,900 loss bonus in previous rounds. Now, what, you're looking at another 2,400. But Harry, if he gets a few kills with a Mac 10, maybe we see the first ever AWP in this entire series.
Oh, don't tease me like that. You've yet to see it.
It's an enticing prospect. It's 18 rounds in. Sorry, wait, no, 20 rounds in.
Yeah. And with some great AWPing abilities, it's a bit of a shame to have to miss out on it, but we're still getting some great displays of rifle excellency, at the very least.
Muterus. Ducks out on that duel. Decides he wants no part of it. And again, Saw, they will have to start off with some aggressive entries, and they will find 1 and more damage done onto Croman. So Croman, who has the M4, maybe wants to start throwing that away to his teammates. That can also always be saved into the next round. Very valuable to have, and Roman is a valuable player to have if he keeps on going like this. 3 kills, all cleaner than a bee. Bringing them all tumbling down. Harry, the Mac 10, hoping he can find some money, but against 5, that's the best you can hope for.
And while he's been having a pretty solid performance for NORDAVIND, I don't expect he'll be able to get away with anything too significant here. Maybe the 1 kill, a quick trade. They are beginning to separate, so maybe that opportunity does get better and better, but they're saving in a corner, making sure that they can bring that forward. Does Harry throw his life, spamming that Mac 10 away to hope to do a bit more damage such that they die?
Wouldn't mind it, but unfortunately, the damage that the damage done on Vertigo in that corner is so low.
Yeah.
Compared to like Inferno Pit, where it can feasibly, and look at those taps from Rogan, man. 3 kills right here, but compared to Inferno, where if it's planted in default, it does, I think, 74 damage to the players in Pit.
Mm-hmm.
You know, it's very, very difficult to bring them down that low on Vertigo.
Yeah, the bomb damage was actually reduced on this map as well, right? So it's little tidbits that make all the difference. So start off the round very, very well. Above the smoke, Harry attempted to get into a forward position, and it's Arky that takes him down. So a 5-on-4 to start things off, and while the presence towards B is nice, so are still looking to set up in the default such that there's no reaction from the NORDAVIND side that could catch them out.
Tensky is waiting for the peak, but there's 3 of them, so Dodo will be the one to get the kill. Tensky could have lined them up, but it's HS to do so instead. 2 kills from the boost, and they can't get a trade. Muterus, now back in a 3v3, knows it's his time to step up. Just is down. HS will keep on going. Croman will get the kill. HS to add another to the tally before he goes down. Roman in a 1v2 without the bomb will be peaked and brought down.
That is the mentality of NORDAVIND. They get shut down from this boost last time around. First shot from Stadodo on the entry, then he got damage onto Croman. They still go for the boost once again, and this time, because they'd found a kill on Tensky, they don't go to clear it. They don't think that there's a possibility that they could even be going for that twice in a row, but they do, and it catches Saw off guard. A 4-round differential, and while the money's not looking too healthy on either side, a much needed one for NORDAVIND. So are inching closer, and they want to keep that space.
Muris is dancing around. Like you said before, he likes to solo play over towards mid, but he's just dancing around trying to sell information that no one's really buying at NORDAVIND. You know, there isn't much of a market for it right now. And Muris, now that he's coming through, he is a lurker. He is hoping to find something. But in the meanwhile, it is Arky to be moving forward into the site. NATO Safix, this is the first time he's being truly challenged here. Can he find anything? He's got some backup in the form of Harry, but it's quite far away, so he needs to hit some shots too. Flashbang goes out, well timed as well. There's a smoke right next to him, and that does reveal his position, but can they do anything about it? He finds the first kill, lurking around perfectly. Sodoto, though, with the spam will take him down, and Harry catches the bomb out while it was being delivered to the site itself. Roman now getting aggressive, picks up the bomb. It's Sodoto to give him security in the meanwhile, but Tensky adds one more, bringing it back to a 3 versus 2. The MP9 getting aggressive will be brought down. Sodoto is having a field day playing bodyguard, but unfortunately the bodyguard does fall, and with it, so does the good old defended Roman.
Harry feels like he's been flying under the radar. This is another point in the game where we have another instance where NORDAVIND have 3 players tied at the same kill score. But Harry's been kind of flying under the radar. He's been making some great plays for the NORDAVIND side. Tensky has really bounced back in this series, and I might share that same opinion that we seem to have about NATO Safix, where, you know, I want to see more rifling from him. Stodoto on the rifle has been pretty impactful for the SOAR camp.
Yeah. I mean, those 2 shots were very clean. In Vertigo in particular, has been very clean. Croman, though, has been brought down early by Muterist, and Roman will come through with more. Just is always good for multiple kills, it seems like. 2 kills from him. Harry and NATO Safix have to step up. NATO, good damage onto Roman, but not good enough. Needed to finish him off to give Harry much more safety, much more comfort, much more solace. And Harry, he's been spotted out. He knows where they are, picks up the M4, smokes off the bomb, but he knows it's still such a difficult ask when there's a Molotov in front of him, cutting him off, and Arky behind him, cutting him down. 14-11. Oh, no, 14-10. Never mind.
We're not quite there yet, though. You might be a soothsayer. You might have seen the future, because the buy for NORDAVIND is absent. They're still going to force into it because it would be a double save situation regardless. So they're looking for buys further on. And while these can certainly still go in NORDAVIND's favor, we want to see Seoul bring it back. They've had some great standout performances. They're having a much higher impact from Stodoto in particular on the rifle. Just has been incredible. And we have kind of left out Roman, but he has been showing up in spades as well. Well, the tag damage is done by NATO Safix. The nades in response by Seoul seem to be quite meaty.
Apparently tag damage is more important when it's on all 5 players, as unfortunately Harry does realize. Muterus, however, taking him down has nothing to do with tag damage. That was just a very clean 1 shot straight to the dome, and the B-bomb site is theirs to control. CTs, who did force buy into this, are going to be regretting this. So 11th round incoming, and I have to say, what, CTs, unless they win the next round by some stroke of luck, because they do have the M4 and the Eagles, so obviously always a chance, but unless they win the next round, I think they're set to equalize on 14-14 economically.
Yeah, so provided there's no significant casualties on their path there. There's certainly live in that world. I almost want to see more sort of
overtime?
presence. More overtime after yesterday? Maybe not. But I want to see more control over middle. It seems like Muterus is getting a lot of space, and you can find those kills in particular, but there's just an absence of pressure that can be mounted there that can be so suitable in either splitting the A or B bomb site when there's 2 or 3 players in that position. It's an angle that seems to be less favored, less exploited, but the executes. I mean, they have been strong, so I can see why they just want to keep it plain and simple and just hope to grind away the rounds that way.
Well, you know, this is where NORDAVIND's inexperience on Vertigo comes in. NORDAVIND's not a very good Vertigo team. Let's not beat around the bush. They had a few fantastic players, as there is a nice little scout shot from NATO Suffix. I mean, we're not getting the op, that's for sure, but at least it's close, I guess. But you know, this is where mid control is a very hard thing to do on CT side unless you know all your nades, all your flashes, all the procedures and timings. And you know, maybe NORDAVIND just don't feel comfortable and confident. And Saw is exploiting that beautifully with Muterus.
No, still a lot of utility being thrown about, but no real frags outside of the tag damage done from Just. It's been largely a passive affair. They may not expect these two players to be up so close. Croman taken down. Tensky able to get the trade right back. The gun's not recoverable, however, so it can't cascade out of control for the NORDAVIND side. So I've got that one under lock and key. And while Tensky gets spammed, he's prepared for another fight. Nodo sneaks one by him, though, and Arky gets him through with the wallbang. So NATO's now left on the site to try and contest it, and just doing what Just does. Kills through smoke. Harry just on the USP.
Something tells me Harry doesn't have much to do here.
Yep, I think that is fair to say. A jumping Arky and a very, very dead Harry.
12 to 14, and like I said before, this is where, economically speaking, NORDAVIND are going to be in a significant deficit until 14-14. You'll see them not having Molotovs over here unless Tensky goes for an MP9, and he doesn't. So no mollies. Tensky and Harry, for some reason, go for head armor when you have no money whatsoever. Come on, guys. We're past that point. No mollies, 3 flashes, and a single nade, along with a few smokes. That is...
not a happy bite.
That's as budget as it gets. And still no ops, obviously.
Yeah, you'd hope that one of them would have made the compromise for a FAMAS of some capacity, just so they can slow down a push, but Muterus is keeping the attention of 3 players in through middle. He's been here by himself, by and large, and Harry's willing to reposition just so that they have this triple man setup. The B bomb site's open, so if they just walk on through, Sol will get this planted in a matter of moments. And the fact that there's no Molotovs or nades on the NORDAVIND side can hurt them in the retake.
Well, Harry almost gets that first kill. Very important tag damage done. Molotovs are flying in, but they're just keeping off with the CT side. NATO Suffix goes down, flashes to come through from Roman, but he decides against it. 3 players on the T side are very low. Oh my god, are you saving?
Straight away.
If only they knew. If only they knew. Unfortunately, they don't have kits. So, you know, Tensky, Harry, I can't even blame them for the head armor. They wouldn't have had enough money for a kit regardless, but man, you have to ask yourself, if they had a few extra flashes there, do they go for it? You know, if Harry has a flashbang, if they have more counter flashes, if they have more supportive utility like that, it could make a difference. You know, 3 of these players are very, very low.
Or even like I was highlighting earlier, just like a Molotov. When they're pushing back into the site, you can clear out these back pillar positions that aren't so spammable. It makes things a whole lot easier. And so, yeah, the lack of utility really does come back to bite them, especially the fact they make a gamble in towards middle. They're trying to get that emphasis that I was hoping for, but they aren't able to get that frag in any capacity. So are... They're right there behind them. One round.
They're in a great position to even win this, because now NORDAVIND buys up pretty much fully. If they lose this one, Saw's in. Saw's good to go. And a match point is practically guaranteed for them at that point. But flashbang comes in. Finally, this is the first time we've seen it throughout, where we see a flashbang through that smoke to push through from CT side. Harry flashing over as well, giving himself more of a chance. Finds 1, finds 2. That's the importance. But Muterus coming in from behind, always in middle, always a menace. 2 kills for him. He's been so fantastic throughout the series. But HS with the movement coming in, even runs away. Tensky and HS will seal the deal and get themselves that 15th round, but they are not in the clear yet. 2 players kept alive means money is really, really bad.
And that all starts at 1 kill from HS, the double from Harry to slow them down in the push. Muterus has to pull the trigger on that flank, and he does a great job. Like we said, he's been a menace. He's constantly putting pressure on through middle, and that's the fear that you have to have as a B-side player, is that your back is exposed if you over-rotate or you commit to an early set play like that. And while HS, he's a madman. I don't know what he's doing. He's jumping, bunny hopping around the corner to get the 2v1 underway. Like you said, NORDAVIND are close, but they're not out of the woods yet. Another strong buy from Saw, and they've got firm ramp control. They don't want to fall victim to the same antics that HS pulled through last round.
Pensky, nade, not doing much damage. Now the CTs are getting aggressive. HS is playing around these smokes like a fiddle, but Croman is here to support him, and that's why he feels so comfortable going aggressive. Roman, unfortunately, though, brings it back to a 3v3. Molotovs on all these trees are going to be important, but this first kill is even more so. Roman comes out on top. 3v2. NATO Sophics, the first ever AWP in this entire game, is now left in a 2v2 to step up and build up what could be the big one, but they've... Oh? Okay. No, wait. Have NORDAVIND really rotated? Oh my god, NATO's in position.
No.
Welcome to the op.
They've made so much noise in getting here as well. NATO, the missed shot, that could come back to cost you. He's now trapped in this position. He looks for the repeat desperately, just trying to buy some time to allow his teammate in. Harry now at his back. They're looking to double swing him. NATO's got the same exact coverage, but now he peeks out. Harry can't support this bomb getting planted, and it's covered by Arky. And now it just comes down to whether he can find these duels, because Arky acts as Overwatch. He's making sure that it's not an easy one, but Muterus dials it in. A 14th for Saw. The money not so hot for NORDAVIND.
Remind me why I asked people to buy an op again.
We were waiting for it for the longest time.
It literally came in on the 28th round. We are 28 rounds into a game. Well, 29 now. 29 rounds into a game, and there has been 1 op purchase and 0 op kills.
After all that build-up, after waiting so long.
You tease us for so long only to give us that.
And that's the most important one probably
Yes.
of the game, so.
Yes. Dear God. Saw is bringing it back, man, though. They are looking so good. Just was in the first half. You know, Just was the guy who brought them to a place where maybe they can come back. But Muterus, it's all been Muterus for me. Yes, there's been other players stepping up. Roman's had his moments. You know, Roman's had his multi-kills. Dodo as well. Great kills. But Muterus, the kind of dominance he has in mid, the kind of presence he exerts is huge.
And well, they said the money wasn't good for NORDAVIND. That is apparent. The SMGs, they've got utility, but they've got no kits. Should this be a post plant, it's looking more and more dire. You have to get to that circumstance first, because these SMGs can still be lethal. They can still catch these Soul players off guard. It has to be methodical. Once again, Muter is clearing things out through middle. This time he's got Roman accompanying him. One more player could be the surprise element that NORDAVIND don't expect. They're actually setting up for a few nades that they implicate a split towards this A site.
Muterus again, fully cleared out mid, has full control, but Tensky, this is an interesting angle from him. 55 seconds still left on the clock. If Tensky wants to get a bit aggressive, if he has a flashbang to help him out, and that's where things get tricky. HS, Molotov in his hand, he's ready to chuck it out at about that 40-second mark, and he sees them, he hears them. Molly's gonna come his way. Tensky's gonna try and use it, finds one, looking for 2, but Roman is there with a trade. HS's UMP finds a headshot, but not the kill. That's up to Croman to find, which he does do so. Croman getting aggressive, trying to get back alley control, is unsuccessful for now, but re-peeks out for the quick kill. NATO as well with the MP9 turns into 1v2, now a 1v1. Dodo flicks, but he can't get it done. Croman with 3 kills. How in the world does it come down to that?